Hi, I'm Dino Tripodis. Tonight on the podcast, math professor by day, actor by day, comedian by day. I don't know what the hell he does at night, to be perfectly honest with you. But George Caleodis is back on Whiskey Business. Welcome to Whiskey Business, the podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey, without even a drop in with whiskey. Yes.
Whiskey. Let's get that on a bumper sticker.
Take
two. Whiskey.
Let me try that again. Hi, I'm Dino Tripodis. Welcome to Whiskey Business, the podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey. Of course, John Whitney's going to keep all of that.
You'll see every wart.
Yeah. I'm going to loop it around, like at your funeral, the in memoriam. That's what it's going to be looping that.
As we get back into the swing of things, we've done 2 in a row here after taking a nice big layoff. Last week's podcast with Echo Spirits is up for your consumption, and we consumed a lot of their beautiful bourbons and ryes, so you might want to check that out. It's available wherever you get all your podcasts, and of course on our YouTube channel, Whiskey Business with Dino Tripodis. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to our podcast this evening, sometimes you just have to seize the moment. You have to take advantage of opportunities, people's schedules, etc., etc. And when I found out my good friend and very funny friend, one of my favorite podcasts in recent memory, was back in town, George Caleodis is back with us.
You guys.
Actor, improv comedian,
go on.
Writer,
keep going,
sketch artist extraordinaire.
Tell that to my agent.
And a math professor. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right? Yeah,
for the moment.
Because you gotta, for the moment.
Why would you lose your job?
Chat GPT.
Oh, man.
It's like we said on the teaser. My days are numbered and I can't even count them because the computer's going to fucking do it.
George is going to be our guest tonight. He's also, by the time this drops, we already have done it, but he's also on The Premise, which is back as well. A little offshoot of Whiskey Business, John Whitney's brainchild, has another go-round tomorrow night at the upfront stage. But like I said, when this podcast drops, we'll already be said and done and talking about it on the next podcast. But Georgie's going to be competing, along with Joe Teeters, 2 great improv talents, on The Premise tomorrow night.
We should do 2 versions. One where the show was a complete dumpster fire.
Yeah, okay. Which it could be anyway.
Exactly. And another one where it was just the best thing since comedy was invented. And then that way, whichever way it goes, you can pick which one. Then John can pick whichever one is appropriate to the show we have tomorrow. See?
So it'll be the dumpster fire then.
Well, you know.
Let's let Hansberry, look at me, I remembered this. Let's let Hansberry do the business.
Oh, business.
Then I will introduce the guest bottle, which has actually been given to us by a very dear friend of mine, and I'll give you a little info on that as well, but the business first.
The Whiskey Business.
Okay. All right, really? Really?
I know.
We work together every day. I mean, that's okay. Have at it. Go for it. It's
going to come back twice as hard.
Remember, when it bounces back...
Touche.
Thank you.
Okay. Whiskey Business is the podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey. Thank you for subscribing on your favorite podcasting app. Whether it's iTunes or SoundCloud or Spotify or TuneIn, whatever it is, make sure you rate and review and hit that subscribe button. Also, go ahead and just share it with your friends. You know?
Yeah.
If you have a loved one in your life, share the gift of Whiskey Business with them. If you have an enemy...
the gift of Whiskey Business.
That's right.
I like that.
We also are on YouTube for if you're listening to us. Whiskey Business with Dino Tripodis. Mm-hmm. Hit that subscribe button. Smash it.
Big smash.
Click that ding bell. You'll get a notification.
Ding, 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 ding. You guys got sound effects since I was here last.
Yeah. Actual real people doing sound effects. That's how
it's like Mike Winslow.
That's our
Policing
Academy. Our budget is.
That's right.
Hey, close the door. The crows are coming in.
See, that's royalty-free sound effects right there.
We're supposed to do crows. Right?
Sorry.
Yeah. See?
How'd that freight train get in here?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, improv skills are at an all-time high so far.
Dumpster fire.
Nobody's
fire.
picking up on anything.
I'm trying to impress George over here. You know, hey. Anyway, thank you for subscribing to all this stuff.
You had me at with whiskey.
That's right. Oh no.
Instagram, Twitter, all the social medias.
I'm counting. God damn it!
Evergreen
you're all
Podcast Network.
in my book.
Becoming a thing, Dino.
He's gonna go and stare in the mirror tonight.
Soon.
Evergreenpodcast.com.
Yes.
Evergreenpodcast.com. Thank you. And our guest bottle tonight is a beautiful bottle, and it's one of a kind because it was a private barrel selection. It's a New Riff single barrel proof whiskey, clocking it at 112.5 on the proof. And it was given to me by my dear friend Joe Tate of Metro Heating and Air here in Columbus, Ohio. Joe is... what can I say about Joe Tate? It starts with generous and just continues to go up from there. He's just
appreciate the bottle already.
He's just one of those guys that's
nice.
just generous in everything he does to his friends, and he graciously gave me this bottle. He has given me, in his travels, he picked me up a bottle of Templeton Rye that was behind the glass that was like 12 years old. And, I asked about a good ride. He said, this was right. I go, Joe, this bottle's like, I don't care. Take it, it's yours. I mean, he's just that kind of guy. And Metro Heating and Air is his company. So, yeah, if you need anything done with your heating or your air here in Columbus, Ohio, and the surrounding metropolitan area,
I might be calling him.
Metro, you let me know if you call them, because I'll tell Joe that you're using them, and then
Yeah.
More bottles.
Our air conditioning unit is probably
I don't know.
1984.
I'm talking right at Joe when I say this. This should be enough for me to get a free AC check, right?
Right? Yeah.
$69.99 or it's free.
He's a sponsor whether he likes it or not.
No, but a big thanks to Joe Tate and this bottle of New Riff, which I did taste. Jesus, it's been like I've been holding on to this bottle for like a month and a half, and I told him we're going to use it on the podcast, and we're finally getting to it. I remember I liked it then. You guys have already kind of sampled it. What do you think?
Nice.
Delicious.
It's awesome.
Right off the bat, it's pretty hot.
Pretty hot at 112.
So I'm letting the ice cube mellow it out a little bit, but I remember we had this before, and I remember enjoying it.
Yeah, I remember I did like this.
It's fruity. It's really nice. I like it.
You think it's hot? I don't think it's that hot. Of course, through the years,
Right.
what used to be hot is just tepid.
Yeah.
I was drinking
Tepid
the
is the new
100
hot.
proof very old Martin. I thought that was hot, so
Yeah,
maybe my
right.
Oh, yeah.
maybe my
Real
taste
Barton's
buds
good,
are
too.
just growing up or something.
I think they are.
It tastes caramely to me, along with the
Caramely?
fruit and the
Yeah. Picking
heat,
up on
and
caramel,
even the
that's good.
nose is
Right,
Yeah.
I got the caramel.
Also, Georgie, I want to thank you. Georgie actually, he doesn't have to do this. He's done it every time. He brought us a bottle of double cask 12-year-old Avalar Scotch whiskey, which is also actually. You remember when we had these folks on?
Yes, they were
this
nice.
This is excellent Scotch whiskey. I know you bought it because you thought it was an attractive canister. And
Yeah.
You were.
It looked nice.
The packaging appealed to you, but what's inside?
Lots of bright colors.
What's inside is amazing, amazing.
Not a sponsor, but could be.
Not a sponsor, but could be, and probably won't. But
They had good numbers on that one.
Could be.
I had a good thumbnail for that one.
yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. You did. That's one of our most watched YouTube videos.
Hey, the thumbnail's a blonde
Because
lady. It kind of helps.
The spokesperson,
Sure.
she was very
all about the
educated,
thumbnail.
smart, but lovely to boot.
She was on Zoom or over the. It wasn't Zachy. Zachy.
Yeah, she
What
was,
it?
she was out of Oakland.
Zachy?
She
What
was
is
in San
Zachy?
Francisco at the time.
What is Zachy?
Zachy Gican.
Is it like it's like
Zachy.
it's like whisky?
Jackie.
Is Zachy like whisky?
Yeah. Zachy drinks with the key.
Oh my gosh.
We should not be this silly.
Right?
This
Too
early.
And we've only had like a sip. I mean, one thing, and we were like, half the bottle was gone before we even started the
This is
podcast.
this is like 45 minutes in behavior. You guys.
Okay. Let me be a good host and talk to my guest. Because Georgie, I got a story for you. I got you. You know how comics love to tell stories about other comics.
Sure,
So,
bring
I got
it.
one for you,
Oh.
but I want to know first.
Yeah.
How you doing? How's things?
I'm
How's things in L.A.?
I'm hanging in there. Just
I know there's a writer's strike going on. There's going to be potentially, probably a Screen Actors Guild strike.
yeah, SAG authorized a strike
Yep.
if negotiations should break down. So directors have settled.
Yes.
So
which is not an indication that everything's going to be
No.
because there's
but
a
if
lot
you-
less of them than there are of us.
yeah, but if you were gonna get SAG to strike, on the heels of the writer's strike is the best time to do
Right.
it, right? The best way you could break an actor's strike. Speaking as we went over this last time, the self-loathing actor. Anytime I bash actors, I'm putting myself in that category. Right. The best way to break an actor's strike is to offer one of them a job. So the time to get SAG to strike is on the heels of the writer's strike. Right. Because now's the time when they're going to act. They're going to act in solidarity as best they possibly can. There's a lot of actors openly showing their solidarity for the writers and walking
as well. They should,
which also means free, selfies and donuts from Jay Leno. So there's a lot of that going on. But like, now's a good time to to try. If they're going to make a stand, now's the perfect time to do it.
What are the terms that you guys are looking for?
The two major issues are residuals for streaming content.
That's the big one.
So the streaming producers are making all this money. The residuals are practically non-existent.
They're ridiculous.
And then when you compare them to TV, they're even like you can't.
Less.
It's just it's less.
I mean, you used to be able to get a good residual check if your TV show ran again.
Yes.
You would get a nice little bump.
Yeah, and it falls off time to
Yes, it does, but still.
But you
the
could
streaming is pennies on the dollar.
There's that, and
yeah,
go ahead.
that's tough. I was just going to say, I was talking to Dino about this. It's like what with the music industry not too long ago with Spotify. And I don't think they've really even fully recovered from it. It's going to be interesting.
Is it going into a system that you don't quite understand at first? So whatever was negotiated at that time was not so good for everybody?
And the producers have used that. It's true. It is true. But they've ridden that horse for like a long time. Like, we don't know what we're doing yet. Give us some time to figure this out.
There was the same thing with DVDs.
Yeah.
It's just an experiment. We don't know if this format's going to last. And then DVDs proliferated everywhere. Yeah. And nobody was getting
And now it's like, we've been doing DVDs for years. Why should we change it now? And it's like, so
nobody was getting paid for those.
Yeah, so the reckoning is finally here.
Now everybody knows
earlier.
what's happening. Yeah, everybody knows.
The other, of course, we were talking about ChatGPT earlier. The other bone of contention is AI. So if an actor's likeness or performance is used to seed AI or to do if any of that algorithm. Then that actor should be paid for it. When? Yeah, it's already happened.
Yeah, it's already happened.
There was already a couple of like those voice bank things where you go for voice, try to put your voice in for voice auditions. It was caught training AI on actors' voices that had put their demo reels onto the site.
Right.
It's like if there's not some agreement now that keeps that from happening, like. We're just gonna just chalk it up.
I mean, even if your Apple phone has a feature now where you can, it'll learn your voice and be you.
Yeah.
No,
it's scary, man. We live in the future. These are scary freaking times.
Yeah, the robots are going to take over.
And
man.
I try not to
happen.
I try not to get panicked about it because my buddy Darren points out, like, look, you learn how to use the technology, get on the side of because it's already here. It's already too late. So if you learn how to use it judiciously, you become one of those creators that have bonded with it, have paired with it, that serves that master.
Which just continues to support my theory that Darren is a robot. It has been for years.
No one could be that smart and funny. And be organic.
James Cameron, he did a lot of that with Avatar. Remember when who was in Tron?
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges, he was embracing that because he did a younger him. So if you're in on it, it could be awesome.
Harrison Ford in the new Indiana Jones.
Yeah, but if you
they got a huge bank of images from him way back.
So those are the two basic bones of contention: is the AI and the streaming residuals, because
and those are big bones of contention. And you're a writer as well, so AI as far as writing goes. I mean, it's Whitney sent me something not too long ago, and it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, my prompt was what was it? Darth Vader talking to talking to Luke Skywalker out from behind a bush or something?
Yeah, and didn't you also send me something? You told it to write something about whiskey, and it wrote something very poetic and eloquent about whiskey, or was that somebody else?
No, that might have been Ozbek. I don't think I would have done that. Mine was Star Wars related.
Yeah, of course. I forgot.
Was it very stilted? Like, hello, I am Darth Vader, now speaking to you about whiskey.
No, it wasn't too bad.
Oh,
It wasn't bad. It was actually.
I tried to get. Of course, my students are using it to cheat, right? So,
of course,
right.
I tried to outsmart them, and I thought I was gonna break AI. I thought I was the most genius person in the universe. Said, hey, ChatGPT, can you write me a test that you can't cheat on using ChatGPT?
Oh, that's funny.
And it got snippy with me in a heart. It was like, first of all, let me tell you something. First of all, you do not use me to cheat, okay?
Wow.
Secondly, I am not that kind of program. Thirdly, here's some shit I found on the internet. And that was
here's how you cheat.
Yeah, it was like
It sounded like you were talking to an angry girlfriend.
it did. It's exactly.
First of all,
let me tell you something. I don't care who you
tell
are.
you who you are.
How would you use a chat program to cheat on a math test? It's a math test. It's simple numbers. You've got to either know how to do it or you don't.
A lot of the math that's going on is still being done remotely. A lot of the learning that's happening is still
So
remote.
you just say, solve this problem.
and
Plug
They
it
could
in.
just cheat by using a calculator.
Well, that's true. We do have.
That's old school cheating, Chip.
That's wood burning cheating.
And still, the only thing I can do on a calculator is
that's
spell
cheating.
shell
Little
oil.
House on the Prairie.
No, but oil and boobs. That's all I can do. That's all I can do on a calculator. Still,
there are measures that are supposed to lock down their browser, so their cameras, so they're on the camera while they're taking it, so you can go back and watch. But there are ways to double your monitor, and so you're using another. So if they're using a calculator, you can see it on the camera. But if there are ways for them to sneak another computer in there, and it's funny because you get 27 of the same answer still, but the little quirks, little syntactical errors, little things that don't make sense mathematically, but if you're a mathematician, they jump right out at you, but they don't know any better. You use this symbol here instead of this symbol, and that's a clear sign that a computer is doing it instead of a person. It's painfully obvious when they're doing it, but proving that it happens.
I have a math question.
Please,
for you.
yes.
Do you do your own taxes?
No. I do not. If I'm obsessive compulsive, right? I'm probably undiagnosed OCD, right? Because I don't want to go get diagnosed because then that'll tell me I have OCD.
So you're obsessively compulsive
about being diagnosed. Exactly.
with OCD.
I can't go to the doctor. I might find out I'm sick.
That's good.
So if I even started down that road, that's all I would do all year is work on my taxes. You know what I mean?
I
would every little penny would have to be accounted for and optimized.
Right.
So I just have to let somebody else do it.
Okay, that's smart. Yeah.
And then it works in my favor because then if there is a mistake, then somebody goes to bat for me. So whoever
Supposedly.
you pay. Yeah. Well, so far it's been good.
How do you figure out gas mileage?
Oh, I try. Everything, every time I drive, it's for a job. That's how you figure that out.
How do you calculate? What's the formula for it? How much gas mileage are you getting out of your car?
Oh, this is a serious question.
Yeah, it's an actual math question.
Oh, it's an actual question?
Yeah, how do you? Yeah, just because since I have you here.
When you fill up your car, is this an inside joke? I don't know.
No, not at all.
Some of you guys
I
are
don't know
arguing
where
about
it came from.
It's
I
in
don't
your
know
gut
what's
feel.
We're all taking notes.
You have a tripometer on your car.
I always try to do this, and I never can do it. I never know how to do it.
So at the beginning, when you fill up your car, hit the tripometer, right? So that
zero.
zeroes it out, right? Resets it to zero. How you do that depends on your car. I can't help you with that. Okay, you got
There's a YouTube video.
Then when you fill it up again, you read the tripometer. Right? Okay. That tells you how many miles you have gone.
Yes.
Then you look at your gas receipt, get a paper receipt, and that tells you how many gallons you have put in. So you take the miles and you divide it by the gallons.
So that's a
miles per gallon.
Miles.
You're punking me.
No, he's not. He's totally serious.
Miles divided by gallons. So you measure your
gas.
miles on the tripometer, and then you measure the gallons by the receipt, by how much you've put in. So you go from fill up to fill up, and that's how you can
divide. Or what do you do?
You divide.
I've been doing it wrong all this time.
Divide. Take the number of
M divided by
miles
G.
and divide by the number of gallons. That gives you miles per gallon.
Okay.
M over G.
M over G.
M over G.
Right?
Yeah. Over G.
Or take a picture of your receipt and show it to ChatGPT.
Show them that.
And then tell it, by the way, here I drove this many miles. And
No, I know it seems kind of out of left field, guys, but a lot of people.
It is out of left field.
Because people are going on vacation coming up. They're driving.
Well, that's not business. That's vacation.
My buddy that I went to high school
vacation.
with has a video that he tortures his daughter with. When she was 16, she was having trouble with a math problem, and his wife took a video of them trying to explain to her this question: if you're driving 80 miles per hour, how long does it take you to go 160 miles? And she's like, oh, I don't know, about a half hour, 45 minutes. It's like, no, if you're going 80 miles per hour, how long will it take you to go 160 miles? What do you think miles per? And then they kept trying to simplify the problem, like how long do you think you would go in 1 hour if you're traveling 80 miles per hour?
80 miles.
Exactly. But see, she didn't get it at that point.
You really shouldn't answer that with a lot of pride.
Yeah, exactly.
So they have this on tape, and every year on her birthday, they torture her with it by reposting it. It's
that's
hilarious.
awesome.
So do everything he said.
I've seen that. I've
Have
maybe.
you?
Yeah,
You
maybe.
may have.
It's on Facebook or something.
Yeah. So do
He's from
everything he
Ohio.
just told you to do, and then don't forget to carry the 7.
Exactly. Miles divided by gallons
Gotcha. Miles divided by gallons.
gives you miles per gallon. Per
That
means
gives you
like
miles per
divided by
gallons.
more.
Yes, of course.
Got it?
Got it?
And if you're
in
and all you people out
California-
there, you're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Moving
'cause I know
on.
you're all going on vacation.
Furthermore,
Now, back to the comedy.
As we start over.
We'll cut
scrap
this
it.
whole thing
Let's
out.
start over.
Welcome to Whiskey Business. A business.
Hey.
Not so
podcast,
much
not
with
so much
whiskey. Wait.
Wait, when we were talking about AI, weren't you guys doing a podcast or a show, a comedy show with AI? Or
Yes, Darren was working on
okay,
that.
yeah. When you guys were here for the Christmas
See?
show,
Yes.
Robot.
See, remembers.
Robot working with the
He's
robot.
already trying to replace you.
Yeah, Darren.
Darren
The thing about Darren is he knows he's a replicant.
It was something.
No, his original idea, which was a brilliant idea, like this was going to be great, was artist versus AI. So you ask the AI to create an image, and you give it the specifications. You ask a live human artist to create the image, and you give it the specification, and then you compare the results, and then we laugh at them because the computer is stupid, and the human artist can do such a much better job. Just since Christmas, the technology has advanced to a scary place where they don't look crazy anymore. Like if you ask an AI to do a certain kind of image, you ask it to do an image of Darth Vader eating fried chicken while riding a unicorn.
Idea.
And it looks good, like passable. But at Christmas time, it looked grotesque, and there were arms and legs going in random directions. But just since Christmas, it's passable. Like it's almost good art.
What if next time we do the premise, we have AI do one of the premises,
No.
and a fucking comedian do the other one?
No.
And don't tell them which is which, and then have the audience vote.
Oh my God!
I am.
God, that's
no.
crazy.
Not,
so crazy
no,
it just might work.
No, not sacrificing and feeding the robots. Not doing it. Not doing it.
Funny.
I'm with Darren.
No, I am
Join
not
it
serving.
or
Not serving the overlords.
I'm in.
Listen, there's going to be people inside the dome and people outside the
man,
dome. Which one
somebody's
do you want to
gonna
be?
do
I want to be outside the dome.
Right.
I want to live free.
If we don't do it, somebody else is going to do it. Dino.
Good, let him do it.
All right.
Oh man, that is a great idea.
Did you guys just break up?
No, no, that
Let's just see if it's possible.
Yeah, so that's what's going on with the strike.
I mean, how could you even consider that? Being a creative person.
I would never seriously consider that.
Yes, you would.
No, I fucking
Yes,
wouldn't.
you. I know you.
As a one-time
You
thing.
see, as a one-time
Yes,
thing.
As a one-off,
Yeah.
just to see what would happen.
I think it would be interesting to see what happens.
I know it'd be interesting, so that's all I need to know. It would be interesting. I don't need to see it happen.
Experiment.
Mark
It would
that
be
off.
interesting.
Yeah,
It would be I believe it would be interesting. Check. We don't need to do it.
And the chat
Okay.
will come back. Yes, my mother once said to me, "You are a horrible kid. You are awful." And then we go on and on like that. It would be awful.
As a creative person, it kind of pisses me off.
It is.
and it does scare me.
It is scary and it is disturbing. But again, when you look back on all the major technological advances throughout history, they've always threatened the status quo. So there's something to be said about maybe there's a new paradigm that's better. Maybe.
And then what? Then the AI gets a heart, And it gets a soul because, as far as I'm concerned, as a creative person goes, and what they write and put out there, that comes from the heart, that comes from the soul, it comes from your brain. I said, and that's what scares me, is that AI is going to develop some sort of
a
soul and a heart, and then
it's Terminator.
That's
they don't
it,
need
man.
us
that's
anymore.
it. That's it.
Keep the soul.
That's right.
That's it. They're done.
It becomes self-aware.
Yeah.
This has been an enlightening evening.
I'm working
More
on
whiskey.
I'm gonna by the end of the show, I'm gonna have ChatGPT write a joke for us. I'll dial it in.
What's the
You
premise?
did that at Christmas, didn't you?
Yeah, and it was really bad. So I'm
It
gonna
was-
see.
yeah, see how it's
if it's
advanced.
improved.
I can't remember what the prompt was, but it would be fun if you could remember that
Yeah,
prompt.
it was just something like write a joke about Dino who loves whiskey or
Oh,
something.
yeah,
it was
yeah,
very
yeah.
something
You can't
based
go
on
Right.
back.
that.
It was terrible.
We
Yeah.
go
And I
back
was
and
and I was
edit in
and I was
that
hopeful.
actual thing.
But also the thing too is us humans are becoming better at the prompts. I think that's where the
Oh,
practical.
good. We're learning something.
Oh boy.
That's where the
Great.
practicality is coming, where you can
Right.
you know what to specify.
That's what they're going to need humans for.
Yes, we're
in the
gonna
new
learn-
in
yeah.
the new paradigm is to tell the
Tell robots what
computers
to do.
how
We're
to
gonna.
do.
Yeah,
what
that's
they-
what we need humans for. To
We're the
help
new. We're the
AI
new
take
punch
us
cards.
over.
We're
We're
the
just
new punch
batteries,
cards.
man. We're just batteries, man.
Soylent Green is people.
Love that fucking movie.
I know it's a great movie.
There was not to. Oh, this is a spoiler. Never mind. There's an episode of The Mandalorian which plays with these same ideas, and I thought it was great. The idea was
okay, you can spoil that.
the
People
droids
know.
took over this one planet, and so the humans had nothing to do all day but like drink and play croquet, and it seemed like they were having pretty happy lives. So I don't. if
Jack
the
Black
droid-
was in that
Yeah,
one.
Jack Black was in it. I don't,
Yeah,
not too
yeah.
many spoilers, but like, it didn't seem like they were unhappy.
Listen,
I like
if
the
the
drink.
nerds, if the
I like the-
nerds have not watched it, that's their problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like
then
the
Doc
drink and I
ruined
like
it for
croquet,
everybody.
but 24/7, no,
Okay.
not croquet.
There's got to be some hardship. There's got to be some work involved.
got to work for the drink.
Okay. Makes sense.
So I'm not texting my mom if I'm over here. I'm working on this ChatGPT.
Okay, that's fine.
Of course. You could also have ChatGPT text your mom.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
Every year on her birthday.
And you're off the hook forever.
That's right.
No, if I don't talk to, and that's when I'm leading down this bed. If I don't talk to my mother was so upset with me because I didn't call her quick enough. And you understand what I'm talking about. Your father is how old?
85.
85. My mom's going to be 87. I didn't call her quick enough when my sister texted me the night before and told me that mom had a rash. And the fact that I got the information on a Tuesday but did not call my mother until late on Wednesday, she was very silent, short, and I said, "What's the matter? Are you upset? Are you depressed?" "No, I'm fine. I'm fine. Anything else going on? Everything good? Okay, well, I'm going to go to bed now."
Oh,
I'm
my.
like, click. I'm like, what the hell? Then I found out she
didn't
was
call
pissed
back
off
and
that
say,
I didn't call quick enough. Quick enough.
About a rash?
Or
Passive aggressive.
yes.
Wow.
That rash could have been anything.
Yeah, that's it. It could have been anything. You don't know what it was. And the first thing I asked my sister was, "Is it shingles?" "No, it's not shingles. Thank God." You know, and she goes, "Mom's had her shingle shot. She's had one shot." And then I got pissed off. "What do you mean one shot? She needs two shots."
Sure.
And then I got upset about that. But then yeah, it didn't matter. It wasn't. It was the promptness of the phone call. And now, since then, as I am the inconsiderate son, which is basically what she was implying.
Sure.
You know, not inconsiderate, not as conscientious as I should be.
She'll get over it.
Now I'm calling
Call her every
day,
day.
or at least every
Of
other
course.
day. You know, and the first thing out of my mouth, "How's the rash?
There you go.
How's the rash?
See? Because you remembered.
How's the rash?
What a good boy. See?
How's the rash?" And when the rash goes away, I'm going to still say, "How's the rash?
Oh, good.
Is the rash coming back? Is the rash at bay?"
Have you given it a name?
Because I'm not passive aggressive. The rash is.
The rash
I,
is rash.
How is your father?
He's good, and he doesn't behave like that. My father's like, I don't want to bother. He won't call me. He's not. It's not that he won't call me. He's very hesitant to call me because he doesn't want to bother me. It's like if you're in the middle of something, I don't want to call and disturb you. You call when you can. Never gives me grief. He might say I haven't heard from you in a while, but it's not. It's not like it's just to sort of like remind me that if anything happened in those last several days, I need to tell him about it. So he's not. He doesn't get bitter or anything like that. My mother and I, she didn't. the last conversation we had was a little bit contentious, and it was that same reason.
Oh yeah.
And that was the last time I talked to her.
Oh God, because your mom was.
But she wasn't that angry, but she was like calling me out for not calling.
Right.
In her defense, it had been a week. I should have called.
A whole week.
Yeah,
oh, if I went a whole week without calling my mother.
Yeah. That's it. You're out of the will.
I don't even know if I'm in the will. I got to get in the will first before I get kicked out of the will.
But yeah. So, but Dad's never like that. He's great. He's hanging in there. He's still living on his own. He's still in his own place.
Mom's still living on her own. Yeah, my sister pops in, and she's got, people that come in and check on Mom and so forth.
That's what Dad's got a staff of
right.
He's got a phalanx of caretakers that come in and see him in various.
I may have mentioned
he just
this
holds court
on the previous podcast, but your father has this very sweet and gentle demeanor. But I also remember he's one of those people that when he does anger, it's kind of scary.
Yeah. Well, also. That was at a time in his life when he got that angry. He doesn't get angry.
He doesn't get angry anymore like that?
He gets angry, but not like that.
Yeah.
He was in that position of hurting cats, and, like somebody has to care about the thing for it to go. And when you feel like nobody cares and you're the only one, then eventually you just pop. And that was the choir stuff.
He was in charge
He's
of the
not that way anymore. He's just happy when people come over and talk to him or do whatever. He's got help doing various things. And silver lining of the whole pandemic is that I'm still teaching online and able to audition a lot online, so I'm able to be there for weeks at a time, which is why I have to be there. Yeah.
Which is great, yeah.
So he's hanging in there. We're having a ball. Watching him get old, of course, is never going to be a fun time. We had to go to we went and renewed his driver's license.
Oh, he's still driving.
Yeah, he can still drive. It's amazing too. I've ridden with him. He's still never threatens our lives, never falls asleep or tries to turn into a bush or anything like that. I wouldn't want to be behind us while he's driving, but he still can. He handles the car. He's aware of what's going on. Right, a little trouble turning his neck to the left, so he tends to favor right-hand turns. Yeah, slow driver. But in Wintersville, Ohio, you can get away with that. Right, it's one street pretty much. There's the main street that takes you to Steubenville,
sure.
And that's pretty much it. So we go to the DMV, which I don't think he would have been able to get his license renewed had it been here in Columbus. But first of all, it's 2:00 in the afternoon, and he's like, "Well, I'm going to get dressed and we're going to go renew my license." I'm like, "At 2:00 in the afternoon?" It's like there's no. Oh, you want to get set up for tomorrow so we can be the first ones in at 8 a.m. the next day? Okay, let's do that. He's like, "No, we'll just go right now." I'm like, God protects children and fools. The seas parted. We walked between the raindrops getting to the DMV. We walk in there. There's nobody there. I can't even check us in at a kiosk. I go to walk to the little kiosk to check us in, and the lady behind the plexiglass says, "Can I help you?" Like, yeah, my dad wants his license renewed. Great. Let's go over here take the eye test. So there was a little trouble taking the eye test. It's like, you have to push that button with your forehead. That could be that's challenging to get the right angle because he's kind of hunched over a little bit when he's on his walker. So getting the right angle to get the thing to stay on, and also, he's not as vigorous as he used to be. So holding the button. No, he can still see. He had laser eye surgery, so his eyes are sharp. But then they say to him at the beginning of the test, "Okay, there's going to be lights on your left and right. Anytime you see the lights on left and right, you have to point those out." So he's like, "Okay, read line 5. Okay, read line 5 over here. Okay, read line 5 over here. Okay, read line 5. Okay, did you see any lights that whole time?" He's like, "Yeah, but I wasn't paying attention to them. I was trying to read the lines. They're in my peripheral vision." They're like, "That's the point." We're checking and I'm standing back. Dad, have you never done this before? You're 85 years old. How many times have you had your license renewed? You've got to remember having done this at some point. Oh my God. Then he goes to sign his name on, and it's one of those, credit card pads.
Okay.
And
yeah.
So first of all, he picked up the stylus, not the pen, which I thought he was going to do. I thought he was going to pick up the pen. And when it comes to technology, so he goes to sign it, but the way that it's set up, the accept and clear buttons are right where he rests his hand when he tries to sign. So all he knows, and his hand is on it. So he can't see that he's hitting the buttons. It's not that he's an intelligent man.
Yes,
he
is.
just can't see that his hand is hitting the buttons while he's trying to sign. He's like, it keeps going away. My signature won't stay there. I'm like, Dad, your hand's on the clear button. He's like, oh, okay. And then he slides it over, and then the screen clears because he moved it over to the accept button. So he hit the accept button, and that sent a blank signature over. And then the lady behind that was very nice. She's like, no, we'll just prove it. Anyway. There was that going on. And then in the time that it took us to do that, which really was not that long, in the time it took us to get through that, the lobby filled. So as we're leaving, it's a wall of people, like at 3:30, trying to get their licenses. And we walked out, and they're like, okay. And then we went and took the picture, and he's going to get his license. I'm like, I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought they were going to go, it's time to maybe not drive anymore. And I was prepared for that. I'm like, okay, Dad, here's what we can do. Here are these options. And they're like, no, here's your license. Go ahead. He's not a hazard. No. Just slow.
Did he renew it for 4 or 8 years?
4.
Okay.
They didn't give him the option for 8. I didn't want to ask why, or I didn't want to put that out there.
Yeah.
The difference between 4 and 8 years might be 4 and 3.
Yeah.
No, I didn't want to. So I just let it go. Left it alone. He's fine, but he can still do if I'm not in town, he can still drive to church if he gets his gumption up and stays motivated and decides to do it and goes through with it, and it just takes him a while to do everything. Takes extra time to get dressed because you have to stop and rest and that. But if he wants to go to church, he's going to go to church, and he goes to the bank once a week. He does his cash thing because he has to pay all his people, and so he's got to get his cash. It takes care of all his bills and does. He's still doing stuff. Still reads. He still has a conversation. It's just he might fall asleep during the conversation once in a while.
But we all do.
Yeah, we all I've done that myself.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I do that now.
Exactly. So it's great, and so that's the silver lining to the pandemic is I've been able to spend like a ton of time hanging with him.
That's great.
Yeah. He loves Judge Judy. We watch Judge
Judy
every day.
Why?
Because those people are freaking crazy.
That's what he loves?
Yeah. It's like, how did these people get this far? Not through the court system, but like out of their houses. Like, how do these people function in life? And it's right after Let's Make a Deal, and he loves Wayne Brady. Loves theater and musical theater. So Wayne Brady improving music, he just loves that. And so we'll sit and watch. Yep, we'll sit and watch Let's Make a Deal, and then we'll sit and watch Judge Judy every day. It's a thing of beauty.
That's a beautiful thing.
It is.
I mean, it's a bonding experience for one, and it's. I think it's. I mean, I tease about my mom, but I always say that she's all about the Hallmark Channel.
There you go.
Yeah, and that's when I get my Hallmark fix. And,
all the plots, all the characters.
Well, they're all the same plot.
Well,
they're all the same plot. Over and over, and then if I make the mistake of going down in July, which is like one of the worst months of the year to go down to Florida,
July and Christmas in July,
Christmas in July on the Hallmark Channel. Yeah.
Now, do you have chores to do while she's watching?
She makes a list of things for me to do, saves them up. Yeah. No, Dino's coming. He'll do that. Yeah, there's a list of things I have to do.
Which every time I catch myself getting mad about that kind of stuff, like if I walk into the living room. He's retired. He doesn't have shit to do all day, but think about shit to tell me to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if I even walk in the living room, there's going to be a chore or something that has to get
something
done. And every time I get mad about that, I try to catch myself. Why are you here? That's why you came home.
Right.
For exactly this reason. So don't bitch about it. Just do it.
Do it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
Anyway.
And then there's always, because we, our parents are Greek, there's not only doing it, but you got to do it right.
Oh, well, of course.
You have to do it correctly.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, my mother wants me to dust something, and I dust around
right
something.
way.
No, you got to pick it up.
Oh, that's not going to
happen. You got to pick up all the little tchotchkes and figurines.
And every pile has a certain purpose. You might not know that there's a purpose for that pile, but it's organized the way it needs to be organized.
My mother has, in the last 20 years, her choice of decoration has been fruits and flowers. Mm-hmm. So everything is either flowers or fruits. I mean,
plastic?
Plastic, yeah. Okay. And also, I mean, and glass candies. which I actually ate one.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I actually started to suck on one. When I like
Jolly
this,
Rancher.
Oh my God. Maybe I got COVID. I can't fucking taste anything.
I don't. What is? I'm like, she goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "This candy sucks." She goes, "It's not candy. It's
glass.
It's glass." I'm like, Jesus.
Funny.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He still likes flowers. So like when the weather breaks, I'll go and get some geraniums or whatever, and plant them out front.
That's the ironic part. My mother hates real flowers.
Oh, they have to be artificial.
Everything has to be artificial because real flowers die.
You gotta water them.
That's
They
true.
betray you.
Yeah, they die. The
Just like
artificial stuff
people.
stays up forever. Wow. Oh my gosh.
I keep trying to get him a pet. Every time I'm like, there was a time when my brother got married and went on his honeymoon. He and his wife left the cat with my father.
Yeah.
And in spite of all his protestations, my father had a blast hanging with that cat for like 3 weeks while they were on their honeymoon. So every time I'm like, Dad, how about we get you just like a little dog, like a dog that doesn't really need walked. It just needs to be let out, to go. It can do enough exercise running around the house, or like just a cat. Cats take care of themselves.
Right.
And then one of the people that comes in to help you every day, we can get that person to clean the litter box. And
right.
When I'm not here, I'll do it when I'm here. Obviously, no, he wants no part of that. No cats, no dogs, no animals, no birds, no nothing. I don't know why.
But he enjoyed having the cat.
He did.
So it's like a guest. He likes having a guest.
He
doesn't
does.
want
You should
anybody
get
to
a
move
cat
in.
and just say, "This is my cat."
That's right. That's what I was going to do. I'm like, Dad, I adopted this cat. I don't want to take it to L.A. yet.
Right, can you take care of it for me?
It's going to live with you for a little while I figure out what to do in L.A.
Another question about L.A. Tell me how's the sketch show that you guys
Good.
are doing out there?
It's great
How
fun,
long
man.
has that been going on?
A little over a year. We just celebrated our 1 year anniversary, and we did a best of show. So we took a few weekends. Normally that show's on
What's the
Thursday.
name of it?
This week.
This week.
It's like this week tonight or last week tomorrow
Right,
or
no,
whatever.
it's
This
great.
week.
I only
It's,
see the promos on Instagram, and it
thank
makes
you.
me want to be there to see
thank
it
you.
live. I
Well-
mean, you do a great job with it.
Thank you. I keep trying to push them into like streaming it. The problem is it's put on by a theater company, and if they're of the mind that if it's not live theater, if you put it on streaming, then no one's going to come and see the show live. So anyway, I'm trying to work
Why
on
don't
that.
you record it and
Thank
stream the aftermath?
Thank you.
And then
Thank you.
use that as a tool to get people to come to the live one.
We're working on that. That's a great idea.
It's not a great idea. It's just
ChatGPT can't do that.
It's just kind of smart.
That's right. But then it takes manpower. Then it's just a matter of somebody taking responsibility. So I take responsibility for making that video each week. That 60 second
So
video.
that's all you.
That's all me.
Okay.
So I did all the.
Well, you
I
do a
did the
great
music.
job.
Thank you. I did the music. I mean, I steal the graphics from the internet, but I did the music. I do all the green screening and all the effects and all the editing and all that stuff. And it's 60 seconds, and that's it. And that takes the better part of my night, like just to get that done. Sure. So if we could get somebody, we need to get if somebody takes charge of doing the streaming, then
That would
it'll
take
happen.
okay.
So it's a sketch show. We do it every Thursday. It's the week's news. It's all it's new anchor jokes like you see on Weekend Update, but then we break away to do sketches based on the news.
This week.
This week.
That's what it is on Instagram.
Yeah, and
Who's Ron West?
Ron West is the director.
All right.
You may have known him as Strudwick on Third Rock from the Sun. He's also done a ton of other sitcoms. He's the guy that's always. In fact, I'm not making fun of him when I say this because he actually did a stage show about this where like every character he plays the same character every time, no matter what show he's on. It's always the angry guy, and he's always like, "Shut up! You're crazy! Get out of here!" Like it was a really funny show where he'd like put those 3 lines in a cop show, and then those 3 lines in a romantic comedy, and those 3 lines. Anyway,
funny.
Yeah, he's very funny. So he's the director, and he puts the script together. We have bunch of writers that submit weekly, and then he picks the sketches and he puts them together and cobbles them up into a show. We show up that day. We get the script the day before we get the script and we read through it. We show up that day. We run through each sketch maybe 2 or 3 times, and then once for tech, and then we go. Like
there you
that's
go.
it. It's a minimal amount of effort. Like it's a lot like a TV show. Although most TV shows, even like SNL, spend much more time in preparation. So it's a lot of seat of the pants.
Are you getting good turnouts?
We are.
People are coming out.
This week it's an all-female cast.
An all-female cast.
So even like
That's why you're here.
That's why I'm here. No, well, that too. There are other people that can anchor, but even like the male politicians will all be played by females this week, and they do a great job. Someone will have, one of those ladies will have a great Trump impression. Another one will have a great, Pete Buttigieg impression, or Chris Christie or whatever. It's amazing. It's a great time.
So where tell people where it's at for those that might be listening. For those heading out to California. Yeah, it's on Thursday night.
It's the Atwater Village Theater. So, which is near Glendale, Atwater Village. Just Google Atwater Village. It's put on by a company called the Open Fist Theater Company, and that's almost every Thursday. Not every single Thursday, but when you go to buy tickets, when you check online, it'll tell you if it's up that night or not. And I'll tell you in my promos, when you see the promo, it's got the date of the next show in there. And then we did a best of show. So because it was our year anniversary, we took the best sketches from the previous year and we ran them on weekends for about 6 weeks. And that was a great time because then you get to like polish stuff. The only thing we changed was the news jokes. So like the news jokes we would update from week to week, but then the sketches that we cut to were all like, we did this back in September when, Justice Brown Jackson was up for confirmation, or we did this in October.
A little bit of a setup just to remind people. And then go.
And it was great fun because getting to do the sketches 2 or 3 times, like in front of it, like is like such a luxury.
And is the cast made up of comics, improv people, actors, actresses,
all those things, and it rotates. I'm not here right now, so there's a different anchor. I usually anchor, and then
you'd be a good anchor. I could see that.
Well, you watch the clips on Instagram. He does, like I said, he does a great job. You'll love them. They're very funny.
But they rotate in and out because no one's getting paid, right? It's all free. I mean, the theater company collects money to keep their doors open. It's part of how they're raising revenue to keep the theater going. But it's a rotating cast. People come and go as they're able, and it's just a great time. Sometimes there's music. Sometimes there's like those desk pieces where we interview somebody. It just, all the different sorts of like little theatrical devices that we have. We throw all those into the newsroom.
This is me, a pie in the sky dreaming, but much like you were a full-fledged member of Second City up in Cleveland when they had their company up there. Does anybody from the industry ever pop in and check in and check things out to see if there's some talent that needs to be elevated and discovered, like George Caleodis?
Thank you. Once in a while. That's kind of part of the reason why I started doing the videos was I get a little FaceTime out. I mean, I'm promoting the show, but also it's me creating content for my channel, so it motivates me to do it every week.
And how goes it? How goes that part of your life in that world?
Well,
I mean, right now, like I said, we talked about the strike and so forth and so on, but
it's okay. I mean, more auditions would be better, but I did a couple of. I don't know. The last time we talked, had the episode of the Orville come out? I did an episode of the Orville.
You were in the Orville? Yeah, he was in Orville. No, I don't think it had.
What did you play?
So I played a krill guy that sold some kind of meat, basically. Yeah.
I saw, yes.
Did you? It was one where... Did you know it's hard to tell it's me because I'm in full prosthetics.
It's like blue
but you can hear my voice. Now that I told you it's me, you could probably recognize my voice.
You posted on Facebook that you're going to be on. Yeah. So I watched it.
And he's speaking in krill the whole time, so he's not speaking English. But he's trying to sell them some sort of meat.
That's funny.
But then there's a turn. I won't spoil it for you. I'll let you go watch. It's on my YouTube. If you go to my YouTube, there's some acting clips and you can see.
Where can you see the stream? Because then it's streaming now. It was on like Fox or whatever.
Yeah, Hulu.
It's on Hulu. It's a Hulu show.
And
Seth MacFarlane, he can do no wrong. He's great.
And they're working really hard to try to get another season out of it.
Right,
and I'm like, because there's this
Keep
weird,
fingers crossed.
this guy lives in a place in the universe where they could bring him back. Of course, I say that about every character I freaking play.
Superstore.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Superstore. Exactly.
Right.
Wishful thinking.
Right.
And
Superstore was great.
Thank you.
How many times? Twice? 3 times?
Twice. No, just twice. And I did an episode of what was it called? It was the one about Uber. It was about the rise of Uber.
I think it was called
Taxi.
Super Pumped.
It's
called Super Pumped. And I ended up with one line, but I thought this was going to end up making my career because the number of auditions I had to go on for what turned out to be one line was like several auditions, and they're all checking availabilities and talking about future things. And I'm like, this is great. Now I got to sit back in my career. What ended up showing up was one episode, one line that has nothing to do with the narrative. There's no good reason for me to be there. I'm just like, hey, that was a great time. And then I walk away, and then the real actors have a conversation, and that's it. It's like, I went through 3 auditions for that. You had to sit and wait pinned. I had to sit on a veil for a week for hey, okay, you guys have whatever it was, have a great time or whatever it was, and then walk away, and then the actual scene happens. There's no good reason for me to be there.
Let me ask you about that. Emotionally speaking, what does that do to you? what does that do to your thought process, to your emotional status, to your ego, to your thought process? So like, what am I doing, and why am I doing this? Does it affect you?
Yeah, it makes me want residuals to be better. Because when the check came in, I'm like, I'll take the check. Yeah, it does. It does. Like, am I ever going to get to the next level? But everybody does that. It's all self-involved.
And the next level for a lot of people is different.
Yeah.
So what to you is the next level?
The next level would be like something like Superstore that goes on for more than 2 episodes. You know what I mean? Like 3 episodes of something.
Okay, but you were a guest on the. I mean, is that the next level to be a solid cast member of a sitcom? What about film? Do you want to do film? Is the next?
Film, anything like anything with some consistency.
You could say something. What's the next? Well, the next, I won't be happy until I win the Academy Award. Okay, right. No, well that's lofty and huge. But
no, the next thing would be like something that gets a little bit of recognition to it. Something that is recognized as something valid, not just a here's your pizza like roll, not just a
right
that kind of thing.
Here's your pizza. Here's
your pizza, man. What you know? What I mean, like something that's just more substantial, like maybe 3 episodes of something.
This pizza brought to you by Gatto's. Yeah, gotta get a Gatto's. Gotta get a Gatto's.
I forgot to get a Gatto's, so that's because we've been out of the loop.
Gotta get a Gatto's.
We went like a month, the longest we've ever gone without doing a podcast, and
it's closer to 2 months.
And it was
not 2 months. It was
a month and a half.
5.5 weeks. It was, but yeah, we have a pizza sponsorship, but I have to actually call in order to.
Gotta get a Gatto.
Yeah, they don't just immediately bring a pizza every Wednesday.
Is he a Steubenville dude or no?
No. He's an Italian club guy. Italian club guy.
Gotta get a Gatto.
Yeah,
well, I'm not going to bring up the Steubenville pizza. There's a big drama going on.
What's going back on with DeCarlo's?
No, DeCarlo's is still good. Giannamore's closed.
Oh, a lot of people love Giannamore's pizza. Why they close?
Pandemic, one thing and another. But there are constantly rumors that they're going to resell it or reopen, or they for a while they were opening just on the weekend to sell frozen pizza, so you could pick up some frozen stuff and then take it yourself, just to get something going. But everybody's on pins and needles. Is Giannamore's coming back?
You remember? You don't
I like
see me
Giannamore's, but
Giannamore's was the Wintersville version.
Yeah, I'm like old school DeCarlo's guy. And there's a couple of DeCarlo's shops here.
That's what I was going to bring up. Yeah. You can go over in Hilliard.
You go to Hilliard, go to Westerville. There's one in Westerville now.
The Cinemark Theater over there on Bethel is closing on Sunday.
The whole theater's closing up?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
Me, yeah.
Because I was loosely shopping around to
the dollar movie theater.
Yeah. I was shopping
closing
around
entirely?
I was trying to rent a theater for a party, and so I was calling around, and he was like, "Well, you can't do it here, man." I was like, "Well, why not, dude?" He's like, "We're closing on Sunday." Oh. And I felt really bad for him. I go, "Why don't you keep the keys and we'll have a party?" And he just goes, "Sorry, man." He didn't like that joke at all.
My livelihood is going down in tubes, and you want to have a party with your buddies. It's not funny, man.
I got rent to pay, and you're worried about your party.
Not funny.
Are they going to do something else with that space?
I don't know.
See, here's me now. I'm back in producer.
I talked
mode. We can do this. We can put a show up in that spot. That's a great place for a new club.
No,
it's not closed yet.
Somebody retail wise will take that space over. That's a huge space.
Yeah,
they just got
they'll get an anchor of some sort in there.
There's Half Price Books, the new used guitar stores over there.
Yeah,
Music Go Round. I was just there today.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, how's the music? Because you're also a very talented musician.
It's great. It's okay. I haven't done a lot of it since
you
the
do
shows
so many
went away.
things.
What do you do? What do you play?
I play. Keyboard's my jam.
Yeah.
And so I was doing a lot
instrument.
of accompanying improv shows.
Okay, cool.
If you want to play keyboard for improv, you have to know enough keyboard and enough improv to fit that little niche.
Sure.
And I was able to do that. That was in demand because there are not a lot of people that are willing to. First of all, that have that enough I'm not a virtuoso in either arena, but I have enough knowledge to fit that little.
Yeah, well, that's the Second City
for
thing.
the premise tomorrow night.
I could totally.
Yeah, that's at Second City,
That's
Chicago.
what
They had
happens.
that at
And when
least.
that happens, I go, okay, and then I end up getting paid for it, and then I was able to pay my rent for a little while just
Nice.
doing that. It's like I'd be like, why?
Very fun.
Yeah. So I was doing a lot of that, but since a lot of shows, when we're not back up to full capacity yet.
Right.
But I do start getting people to call me. There's this one team I occasionally coach and play for. They're an improvised musical puppet improv
puppets?
troupe. Puppets
Puppets?
that sing and do long form improv.
The puppets do?
Yeah.
Well, it's the people.
And
but
sometimes
they're,
the people interact with the puppets. Sometimes people are characters, and then
I don't know how I feel about that.
I didn't when I started. I did not either, but I have once I saw it
Because
in
I
action,
put puppets in the same category as clowns.
right. This
Yeah.
is no, this
Are
is
you
slightly,
scared by puppets?
Yeah, puppets kind of freak me out.
The puppet show.
They're less creepy than clowns.
Yeah, because they're
not gonna
smaller.
eat your
only
soul.
because
They're
they're smaller.
They're manageable, and they can do things that clowns can't do. They can fly. You know what I mean? They can do. But these are adult puppets. These are like Avenue Q style puppets. These aren't like kids show puppets.
Okay, they're big. They're bigger puppets.
No, well, some of them are.
Yeah.
But they speak in adult themes. They're not like.
I understand.
They're not like.
I understand.
I don't trust anybody on stage who's got a fucking hand up their ass. I can't.
But enough about your sex life.
Have you tried it?
A puppet.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Continue.
that's I did a show with puppets. That's what I'm saying.
Basically, what I'm trying to say is I did a show
I
with
did a
puppets.
show with puppets. That's it. My point is, there's not a lot of exciting stuff going on right now. Coming out of coming out of COVID,
Yeah.
and the strikes, and it's like there's a lot of everyone's just white knuckled hoping that something's going to start happening again. You know?
Yeah, right.
The celebrities are fine. The celebrities will always be fine.
They're
taking care of
good.
themselves.
They banked it. They're
Yeah,
good.
there
They're
are some
fine.
producers. I mean, and the thing, the truth that I'm realizing, or that the universe is trying to, I think, get me to realize, is that the whole reason I went out there, day one, going out there, my plan was to do what I was doing in Columbus, trying to create something, trying to create a brand, a show, trying to do something. Right. But do it out there where there was a much better chance of something actually snowballing into something. And I have to remind myself constantly and repeat periodically that's why I went out there. I went out there to do my own thing and be near where stuff was going on, so that there was a better shot. And every time I forget that and hope I can just get by jumping through other people's hoops, something smacks me in the face and reminds me of that. And so this is one of those times where it's like, I need to start producing something again. I need to start, creating my own opportunities.
I get it. When the pandemic hit and I had absolutely nothing to do, I've said this before, if it wasn't for this podcast, which we had to do remotely at that time, I think I honestly would have lost my mind on some level. I think the podcast saved me because, I was writing, but then I got to the point where there was the self-loathing came in, and everything I was writing I hated, and I almost completely just tore up anything I was working on.
Dark.
Yeah, no, I just thought everything sucked. Right. Turns out it didn't suck, and a lot of good things came out of it, but at the time, in the reality of it, in the moment, and it was bad, and I can see how it's easy to lose your perspective because you've been out there how many years now?
12, 13.
12, yeah. I mean, you're doing it. You're surviving.
Well,
You're surviving.
And you can do that from here too. Is the kind of ironic thing is you can
now.
make a viral video now and
Yeah.
boom.
Oh my goodness! If we had YouTube back in the day.
Back in the days, right?
Although it's probably good that there aren't as many records of that era.
Yeah,
Right.
It's gonna be a lot more
good that everything
cancelizations.
it's probably good that not everything was documented.
Do you TikTok?
I do now because when Twitter started to go south,
Right.
I was like, I'm going to quit posting on Twitter, but I still felt like I needed to post the video somewhere. So I figured, well, the kids are all into TikTok. Let me switch over to TikTok and post there. So now I don't post on Twitter anymore. I post on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Just in time for TikTok to get canceled.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Once TikTok gets canceled, I'll move on.
how are they going to cancel TikTok? The whole, you're not allowed to use TikTok. And what was it, Utah?
Funny.
What state is it?
They're trying. Is it Utah or Nevada?
Nevada, one of those
Minnesota,
states out
and
there.
They're trying to
outlaw it.
You can't.
Flyover
All right.
states.
Yeah. I mean, I understand not installing it on a government.
TikTok police.
Let me see your phone.
Yeah, let me see it.
I saw you dancing there. Dancing.
What's under your bag?
Yeah. I see you lip syncing to someone else's stand up.
I understand not installing it on a government device. That you can police. That's a thing, right? Like if the government owns your phone, if you work for the government, okay, don't put TikTok on your phone. That's reasonable. I get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, how you gonna stop Joe Blow from like,
No way.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna happen.
It's
funny.
I'm actually picturing their outfits and stuff too.
I mean,
TikTok police. That's a sketch, man. Write that. Send it to Ron. He'll put it in next week's show. Or ask
I didn't hear what you said.
I said I'm picturing their outfits and everything. Like I'm just picturing all the
all the people,
people in the TikTok police.
The TikTok police, yeah.
The car they drive.
Yeah, what uniform would they wear?
Send it to Georgie. Watch it come alive.
There it is.
The
TikTok police.
And just like that.
TikTok police. You're under
And then Hansberry will get famous.
Done.
And
then he'll stop returning all of our calls.
Dino,
this is what
who?
happens. Yeah,
Oh,
why don't you send me your stuff? I'll get it to him.
I've got this thing.
Are you still
TikTok SVU.
Are you still? That I would watch that show. I'd watch one episode
Just
at
to
least.
see what they did.
Yeah,
with it,
just
right?
to see. Yeah. See what the special victims unit comes up with the TikTok crime. The TikTok crimes.
He lip synced himself to death.
Online, there are 3 different types of services.
These are the stories.
Those that stitch. Yeah, these are stories. Those who stitch their videos with others. Those who create their own content.
Okay,
those who steal audio.
You're gonna go home with sketch ideas. At least you got something out of this.
That's right. I can write off this whole trip.
There you go. You were working.
You got that, Chip? You need any details on writing off this trip?
More tax advice.
Yeah.
From George Caleodis.
Miles divided.
Yes, because Chip wants to deduct the mileage from his house to here for the podcast. Because technically, this is work.
Yeah.
So
You can't deduct on your way to work or on your way from work. But during
So
work,
you knew all that, and you still had questions?
Yes, I know. It's crazy.
But what if you're bringing equipment, Chip? If you're bringing equipment, it's
That
different.
counts.
So I'll let you have half of my bag of gear.
That'll work.
Let me. When it comes to
You IRS.
that was Greg Hansberry, not
Yeah.
Dino
Bring
Traponis,
it.
who is currently paying
it.
off the IRS as we speak, and has been very happy and glad to do it.
We might have a podcast. Remorse.
Let's itemize. That was one of
Yeah.
your first bits I ever saw. Was your IRS bit?
Oh yeah, that was an old bit. Yeah,
Let's
when I got audited. Yeah, it's funny. You remember that? I forgot my co-host on the radio station remembers my act better than I will ever remember my
She's
old
your
act.
biggest fan.
My
Stacey's
old
your
act.
biggest
She
fan.
remembers stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's funny. She goes, you wrote it. I go, I did. Yeah. I'm starting to do stand up again a little bit more. And my question was, because and this all makes sense when I get to the end of the story. Are you still affected by celebrity when you meet somebody big, famous, or are you unaffected because you're in the business?
I'm affected.
You are affected?
I'll go fanboy in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Seriously?
But I try to contain it, right? I try to play it off. I try to be nonchalant about the whole thing. I try not to let it come out. But if there's somebody that I remember from a show, or especially if it's if I'm a fan of somebody, it'll be holy. I just happened to work with you probably worked with him stand up. Is it Wayne Dwyer? Is that the guy's name?
I worked with Wayne a long time ago. Yeah.
Sorry. Wayne Dwyer. I'm going to talk over here.
Because it's a secret.
Is this omnidirectional?
talking now. Everybody stop
Is this a cardio? And who I remembered from, he was the MC for the robot fighting leagues that were on Comedy
BattleBots?
Central, BattleBots. Yeah, and I happened to work. I did a thing. One of the I was in one of these little sketches that James Corden was doing where he was punking Adele, and it never made it to air because one of her people figured out that it was a punk, and so you see little snippets of it. But during the gig, anyway, he was there, and I'm like, dude, and I was the only one old enough to remember like him having done that. Like all the rest of the cast was like full of kids, so nobody else knew what I was talking about. I'm like, dude, I remember. And he's trying to play. He's trying to play it off, dude. We're equals. You don't have to. You don't have to be. I'm like, no. How about when you did this? How about when BattleBot? When you did that?
So you geeked out.
I geeked out, but like I try to keep that under wraps.
But once it was released, there was no coming back.
Yeah. Well, once he was cool with it.
All right. Cool.
Because some celebrities will act like they don't want you to geek out over them, but they want you to geek out over them. You know what I mean? Like,
see, and that leads
some of them genuinely don't, and so it's just about feeling out.
And that's where this story comes into play because last Saturday I did a benefit in Bell Fountain, Ohio, fundraiser for a theater, the Holland Theater. They're trying to light up the marquee at the Holland, which is great, but it's going to cost like $600,000 to light up this beautiful marquee. Yeah, I mean it's
probably a gorgeous theater.
It is a gorgeous theater. It has a Holland theme. I mean, you go inside and there's windmills on the walls and things that are spinning, and it's about a 600-seat theater.
What's the theater name?
The Holland Theater. Right. And I agreed to do this fundraiser, and I was going to host it. And two great acts. The feature act was a young lady by the name of Nicole Kuhn. Stephen Scott was the headliner. He's been around for a while, and it was all put together. And they reached out. The organizers reached out to Dave Chappelle on the chance that maybe Dave Chappelle would graciously come do some time because he lives in Yellow Springs, which was about 40 minutes away. Long story, a little shorter, he did. He agreed. Wow. And he drove up. He had just been in Philadelphia in a 20,000-seat arena, sold out. The night before that, he was in Pittsburgh in a 17,000-seat arena, sold out. Wow. And then the next night, he was driven up from Yellow Springs to come to Bell Fountain, Ohio, and did this show. And it was great. I mean, and weren't
so you didn't have any warning that he was coming?
No, I knew. No, I knew that there was a possibility he was coming, but I was told to keep it a secret on the chance that something happened and it all fell out.
Yeah, you didn't even tell us.
Once there was a rumor. No, I didn't tell you guys. You're
right.
No.
You told me.
I told you.
Yeah,
I told you.
I
told you.
But I didn't tell anybody else.
No, you didn't tell anybody else.
Good.
Yeah,
it was like a lock box.
It was a lock box.
So he ends up showing up.
He does show up, but he's late.
Okay.
He's late.
Of course, he's Chappelle.
You
know, he was going to be on time,
right?
I would have been offended if Chappelle had been on time.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, hold on a second.
You're not a real comic. Fake celebrity.
No, they said in the videos that we had to backtrack the time. You do 12 to 15 up front. The feature do 15. The headliner's going to cut back to 35. So Dave will go on at 9 p.m. So yeah,
it's the earliest show he's probably ever done.
I did my 12 to 15, and the feature did the 15. The headliner did, and then like 5 minutes before, he's not going to be going on till 9:20. He's going to be here at 9:10. He needs 10 minutes to kind of get ready. So I've got to go back up on stage after the headliner crushes it and gets a standing ovation.
Of course.
Yes, of course.
Of course he does.
You know, which is like every comic's nightmare. You got to follow a standing ovation, which I did though.
Yeah, of course.
I did. I just rode his wave. I was very fortunate that everything timed out.
Did you bring your props?
I had no props. I don't have any props.
Did you warn them that
I brought my puppets. I brought my puppets. I brought my puppets.
Did you do all your impressions?
I did.
At this point, Dino, did they know Dave Chappelle was coming?
Yes, they knew because it was announced. Because people knew. People knew that Chappelle was good. I mean, they bought tickets and sold out the theater on the hopes he'd be there. But once they got there, they knew he was there because they were bagging the cell phones, which is the protocol on a Dave Chappelle show. So everybody knew that he was there, and that was fine. We told them; they all knew. When I went back up, I did not say Dave Chappelle's running late. I didn't want to put any negativity into their thoughts. I didn't want that working against me, and I did the show. And he came out, and
He's a pro. Here's my question. Sorry.
Let me finish the story.
I've already heard this story. That's why I'm already thinking of questions.
Before you jump the gun.
Sorry, that's okay. We're good.
So he comes out. I don't get to talk to him before he goes on stage. I don't get to shake his hand and say, "Here's Dave Chappelle." I say, but he's got his intro music. He does 30 minutes, a killer 30 minutes. He's Dave Chappelle. And leaves. I don't see him as he's walking out. Security engulfs him and takes him back down to the green room. That's where he's at in his career. That's no big deal. So we're just all kind of sitting there going, "What did we? Can we go down to the green room?" And then nobody's saying anything. And then finally they say, "If you want to come down to the green room and say hi to Dave and take a picture and chat for a little bit and meet him." Yeah. So we all go down. I worked with him back at the Funny Bone back in the day when he was still a club comic.
Does he remember that at all?
No, he didn't remember that at all. But he remembered the Funny Bone in Columbus. Did you tell me?
Did you tell
Yeah, I did, but I don't expect to remember. I said I worked with you back in in 1990.
Yeah, he was real skinny back then. I guess so were
Robin
you.
Hood men in tights. Ouch, Chip. Jesus.
Wow, what is that supposed to mean?
Who gave him a microphone?
Chip's glass.
We're gonna take it from him.
And we're done. He's
You
done.
take the amount of hate and
One
you divide
down.
by
One
the number
down. Yes, we were all skinnier then because we weren't making any money, and we couldn't afford to eat. But he remembered the Funny Bone, of course.
Sure.
And we were talking and so forth, and we started talking about. And then he gets generous and says, "If you guys want to come down to my summer camp." He's doing the summer camp shows. Hook up with my guy Joe. We'll make sure you guys get tickets. I'm like, great. And I go, when are they? They says they're July. And I go, I'm not going to be here. I'm going to be at the World Series of Poker because I'm in the World Series of Poker this year in the tournament.
Which is another story.
Which is another story for another time. And he goes, oh man, well then I hope you can't make my show because that's cool as hell. Yeah. And we started talking about that. And then he says, I'm going to get a drink. And if you guys want a drink, you're welcome to come down to my private bar in Yellow Springs. And this is where you try to remain a little inside you're going, are you serious? Really?
Nobody's
Outside.
stopping me.
Outside.
Inside the head, you're Kermit the Frog. You're just like...
yeah. Outside, I'm like, yeah, I think I could do that.
I got nowhere to be.
What's about 40-minute drive from here? Yeah, I think.
All right, I got Uber.
I think
like you're not canceling appointments for the next day.
Sorry, Mom, I'm going to miss our phone call this week.
Yeah, right. I got to check on my mother's rash,
Mom,
and then as soon as I do that, yeah.
Chappelle heard all about your rash.
So
concerned.
I mean, we go down and we go down to this bar that he's got. It's private. It's just his. It's not open to the public at all. And I'm hanging with. It gets very surreal. I'm hanging with the Dave Chappelle.
How many people are in this bar?
He had some of his people there. He had a DJ that was present and called up to. His own DJ that was spinning and mixing, right? Yeah. And this place is just. I see why he calls it the Shack because outside you wouldn't be able to pick it out from anything else. Inside it was just beautiful, and my point being that this, at the end of the day, once you get past the security and the entourage and everything else, it's still this guy that loves to do stand-up comedy and is just a real regular guy. He's a good dude. And he came to Bell Fountain because he believes in small towns and he believes in small town causes. That's why he lives in Yellow Springs. He's literally trying to do things to constantly improve Yellow Springs and bring more and more things to it.
The public radio station.
The public radio station, and he's buying some buildings and trying to make them into something. He wants to put up a comedy club. So forth.
Thank God it was you and not me, because I would have gone all fanboy on him.
I didn't go fanboy on him. I didn't go fanboy at all. In fact, it's just like I can't remember who gave me the advice, but always try to act like you belong there, or you've
been there before.
You've been there before.
Treat normal people like celebrities, and treat celebrities like normal people.
That's
good.
A great piece of advice.
Good too.
Because I did not monopolize any conversation. I said, he says, what do you want to drink? I said, I like bourbon. He goes, I don't have any bourbon. We got this Japanese whiskey that I've been dying to open. And I said, don't open it on my account. He goes, man,
give me an excuse.
I'm a millionaire, bitch.
Well, it's funny you say. It's funny you say I'm a millionaire. It's funny you say I'm a millionaire because every once in a while that didn't, and not in a bragging way whatsoever at all.
Yeah.
He says, he goes, where are you from? I said, I live in Columbus. I goes, oh my my son's living and working in Columbus, Ohio. I go, what's he do? He goes, doesn't matter. His dad's a millionaire.
It's funny. It's funny.
he said he's living his best life.
Hilarious.
But yeah, I mean, it got very surreal. We talked about the writer's strike. We talked about whether SAG would go on strike. We talked about acting, and how come you do more acting? He's like, he shows me the clip from Stars Born. He goes, I got great notices. I know you got great notices on this. He goes, Bradley Cooper, amazing, so forth. He goes, man, I love doing what I do, and he knows what he loves to do. Yeah, he's obviously one of the greatest at doing it. He's a voice of our generation on a lot of levels. Granted, controversial at times, but that comes with the territory. You know that, especially if you speak your mind and you speak your truth. But the bigger part of it was that he was just this guy. I'm smoking cigarettes and drinking Japanese whiskey and watching. He goes, check out this video, man. DMX was in here. This is crazy. And he showed me this video and other stuff, telling stories about Stevie Wonder when Aretha Franklin died, and how Stevie Wonder did this set where he sang all the songs that he wrote for Aretha Franklin, and there wasn't a dry eye in the house. And he's just telling these great stories, and it's just like I was unaffected, is my point, because it was just, I've considered it a pleasure and an honor to be there, but I wasn't like, And remember that time? Remember that time on the Chappelle show when you did that? When you did that?
When Comedy Central,
remember
that?
Whole thing? And remember that?
What were you thinking? Yeah.
And remember Dave Chappelle's block party? Of course you remember Dave Chappelle's block party. You made the movie. Yeah, I didn't. There was none of that.
Yeah.
There was none of that. And then I left early. Actually, I said to him, I said,
this is a smooth move. This is a smooth Dino move right here.
Yeah, I left early. I said, I tapped him on the shoulder. And I said, I always like to leave before my host tells me I gotta go.
Market.
And he responded.
And he said, he responded in kind. We shook hands, and I have no selfies. I didn't want to be that guy. I just was in the moment.
But somebody else near the show has to have taken a picture.
Yeah, there were some pictures taken in the green room, which I haven't gotten yet.
Yeah,
and obviously no DNA or DNA.
What?
What?
DMX?
What?
Are we allowed to post that on our social stuff?
What?
The picture of you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a picture that was taken that I'm sure he approved of. He was in the picture, so I mean, it's
I don't know. Did I tell you the Tina Fey story from Cleveland the last time I was here?
No.
So when Second City Cleveland opened, it was just a parade of celebrities.
And remind me what year that was, like 90?
No, it was. You know what? It was right after 9/11, so it was 2002.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Great.
9/11 happened, and I was still teaching, and then right after that was when
I remember 9/11.
Yeah, sure. Most of us probably do.
So you're doing this story.
do.
Good luck. That was a great story, by the way.
What? It was a great story.
Thanks, Greg.
Then
awesome.
After you get some of the Tina Fey story, you can ask your question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ask your.
No.
Do it now.
No. Tell the Tina Fey story first, and then we'll come back, because then we'll have Tina Fey questions and Dave Chappelle questions, and then we'll leave it.
But here's the thing: it's not about Dave Chappelle; it's about you.
Oh. I think that should.
Let me just ask real quick.
All right,
all right. So you do 12 minutes at the beginning.
In the beginning,
and so you go into the show knowing, all right, I got this 12 minutes. I got my show. I got to start the show. I got to host the show. Theoretically, Dave Chappelle's there. So you bring out your A game, and then you're like, oh fuck, I used all my best stuff earlier, and then I got to fill for 20 minutes. Like what's going on in your head as a comedian, as a host, when you're like, all right, how do you delegate?
The correct answer is that it's all A game.
Well, right. No. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think? And you go, oh fuck, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Oh, I'm gonna do that joke. I'm gonna do this. Or do you just go up there and just wing it?
And in all honesty, since I'm only in the last year or so have I started to get back up there telling jokes again, and I feel the obligation still to write new material, because even though no one's seen these jokes or heard these jokes,
I've been telling you to do your old stuff for a long time.
And I still feel like I do that for my benefit,
right.
For my satisfaction. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't, but I don't care. At least I'm attempting it. I picked a specific 12 minutes that had a start and a finish. But also as a host, Georgie, as you know, as a host, it's not just about doing the set. It's about setting the table as far as being a likable person. If you like me and you trust me as your host, you're going to have faith in me that the people that come after me are going to be just as good, if not better.
And also, you don't want to be the main event when you're the host. You don't want to
So you want to be funny, but you...
No, you want to be funny.
You want to be funny, but you don't want to overstep your bounds.
Did I crush it in the first 12 to 15? No. Did I crush it in the next 20? By whatever fates stepped in, yeah, I did. It was like the 20 was better than the 15, and I don't know if that's because at that point I was a little looser and into a rhythm. The audience was great. That's part of it. They were they were drunk when they start laughing at setups. Before you even get to a joke,
when you don't need punchlines anymore, you've beaten the system.
When I do a joke about racism and say it got to a point where I was afraid to go to Starbucks and order coffee the way I like it. Everybody starts laughing.
That's a good bit.
Yeah, everybody starts laughing at that before I even get to the meat of the joke.
I would just leave it there. I would just cash
flat
out.
white.
like, yeah, that's funny, isn't it? Let's talk about something. I'm your host. Good night. Here's Dave Chappelle.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you have enough material that you were able to all right, I used that. Let me go back to my well. You've been doing some gigs lately, so you're able to.
I was able to go back to the well, but I'm also one of these. I like my comedy to be connected. My pieces sometimes aren't just isolated bit here. They everything is a story.
Sure.
And some things are connected to other things. So, I like I did something about my daughter in the first 15 minutes, and if I was knowing I was going to do a 30-minute set. The jokes from the 20 minutes.
Yeah, the one I thought was real.
The one you thought was real. That's the acting coming in. But then I did jokes about my daughter again in the second set, and I wish I could have connected those all in one fell swoop. But they still work.
Sure.
They still work. Chappelle didn't see any of my set. I didn't care. I wasn't there. I wasn't. No, I didn't. Chip, I didn't care.
You didn't care, but
it
was cool though.
No, it would have been cool.
But Chappelle's what pops into everybody's mind, and what's never going to happen.
Never going to happen.
Chappelle bounds out of his limousine and goes, "Wait a minute. I'm going to make you a star.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
Give me all your stuff. I'll take it right to my agent."
The win wasn't Dave Chappelle watching my set and tell me if I did well or not. The win was able to hang out with a guy and talk to him like a normal person about normal things.
Which is great that you were actually able to do that, because I would say that. But in my head, I would still want that. I'm going to make you a star, kid. Here, let me take all your stuff. It's going to be a Chappelle and George movie.
Right.
I got it figured out. In my head, I totally want that to, even though I might say exactly what you just said. In my head, I would still want that fantasy.
I would say your play is just be cool, but make a mark. So hopefully
make a mark for myself.
So hopefully he'll run into you again and be like, "Oh yeah, you were the dude who liked the Japanese
music."
Maybe
he
wanted to leave early.
Maybe he will. Maybe
Let
he
me tell you
won't.
about this guy I met in
It doesn't
in
matter.
Bellefontaine
Do you realize how many people he meets? How many people he comes across? The fact that the man had the generosity and the hospitality to invite strangers into his bar that he had never met or knew.
And next time he cracks open that Japanese bourbon,
he's going to Scotch whiskey.
The Japanese Scotch whiskey.
Yeah.
He's going to remember the cool dude he met in Bellefontaine that
left
early.
empty.
He's going to think about the funny bone.
And he might not, and that's fine. I don't care.
Dino slipped his card in the box.
I don't think Dave Chappelle woke up on Sunday morning like, oh man, what was that guy? Dino? Yeah, he was cool. No, I don't think he did that. I don't think he did that. I don't think he did that at all. And by the same token, when I was driving home, kind of recapping the night in my head, I'm like, you were just hanging out with the biggest name in comedy, Mark Twain winner for comedy. And I went, and I'm in the car going,
Cool.
Good for you, man. I'm glad it was you and not me.
Did you guys all caravan?
When I say I don't mean like it didn't matter.
Right.
It's like okay, that's one for the books.
Yeah, but did you all caravan from Bellefontaine?
Initially we did. Yeah,
stop at Taco Bell.
And then they drove back with the organizer. of the event who was also there.
Did you drive yourself, Dino, or did you get ridden? Or?
No, I drove myself.
He had a
yeah.
limo too.
Good.
No, I was just curious because I've heard the story. So
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. You want me to come down? Can I ride with you?
Yeah. I'm in my car here.
That would have been uncomfortable.
Can you take me home? I need a ride.
Yeah, man, I'd love to come down. Can I ride with you, man?
From Columbus, it's an hour.
And then when you leave, you're gonna be like, somebody's gonna take me back up to my car.
Yeah, it is an hour though.
And that's the other thing too. Like, I said, why'd you leave? I go, what do you mean? Did you think that Dave Chappelle was going to say, "Hey, man, you should crash here tonight, and let's have pancakes in the morning"?
We're working on this screenplay in the morning.
Chappelle is not looking for more hangers on.
No. Undergrad.
But to end the story and then get back to the Tina Fey story,
Because she's probably my number one in the top
the
three.
Tina Fey story,
favorite
and then we'll
people,
start to wrap things up. A very cool experience, a very gracious, hospitable guy who, at the end of the day, is just a man who loves to do what he does, and has, despite all the controversies that have come here in the last couple of years and so forth and so on, and if you actually watch all of that particular bit that everybody's in context, you'll see that the anger is slightly misplaced. Because, what happened?
Love for his friend.
What happened with that is the same thing that happens in radio. You get people just hear one thing and laser in on it and don't listen to everything in the whole. And
then he ends up paying the price for other people that have maybe not
done that and have been the other way. Yeah. But no, very cool experience, and I'm very appreciative of the fact. So
the stretching and not knowing brings up a shorter story I have to tell. Because that whole idea of like we don't know if the headliner is good, might be like. So I was opening for the Righteous Brothers.
I opened up for the Righteous Brothers.
Did you?
Yes,
nice.
I did.
Here in Columbus. And I was still teaching it.
No, I was opening up for the Righteous Brothers. How cool is that?
He brought back that love and feeling.
Yes. While I was still teaching at Columbus State, and they said, this set, there are families, this is like a Sunday afternoon, and there are families in the crowd, so this has to be squeaky Disney clean. And, you got
any math jokes?
I have never found, I've never found, we talked a little bit about this last time, I've never really found my voice as a stand-up, but it was never clean. Whatever portion of that I have ever found was not family friendly. So I'm searching for stuff so I'm trying to just delete. And then, oh, by the way, I get like a little off from the side. They're running a little late. I'm getting the stretch symbol, and it's like we need you to do like another 15 minutes or so.
Oh my God! Which is
clean material, and I've already burned. I've shot every wad I have. Like I've got nothing left at this point.
Tell the audience that I just shot every wad I had.
I would have. I did not. I would have.
It's totally blew my
So
load.
I had made a comment about teaching for Columbus State, and it got a reaction.
Okay.
Shit.
So I just started riffing, and
A positive reaction.
It got a positive reaction. My comments, however, were very negative, and very pessimistic, and very just not cool. But it was all I had, and I'm in this like not cool place, trying to stretch, just railing on Columbus State, and people are laughing. Okay, and then there's a follow spot. I've never had a follow spot on me in all my time.
Oh, like, how cool!
Right? When you're a stand-up, that first time you get a follow spot,
yeah,
like
you feel like you're in show business.
Seriously,
yeah.
Like I'm a real live boy, and they're following me. So I get off the stage, and it was great, and they thank you, they paid me, blah 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 blah. So then the next day, the chairman of the department comes into my office.
Oh my gosh!
Closes the door.
He was at the show.
Pulls the blind.
He pulled the blind.
He wasn't at the show. The vice president of the college was at the show.
Oh my God!
And did not take as kindly to the material.
He was there for the Righteous Brothers.
Rest of the crowd.
Did he not see the humor?
That's what I said. As he was threatening to fire me. It's satire. It's a character I'm doing. It's like Andrew Dice Clay, which was a horrible metaphor.
Sure.
The horrible simile to pull out at that moment.
Colbert,
but that was all I could come up with way before Colbert. But yes, if Colbert, that would have saved my ass. Anyway, so after about 15 minutes of this, he says, "Listen, in the future, either don't do that don't say those things, or don't say you work here.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I understood, and it'll never happen again. And I was like, because like looking back on it, like I thought it was funny, and it was like I was saying those things. It's true. You say shit out of love that sounds very terrible. You know, when you give your friends grief, you say some terrible things to your friends that you only say because you love them. Yeah, you're just busting some balls. I was busting Columbus State's balls, but the vice president didn't know that because he and I weren't like on ball busting level.
Yeah, sure.
So anyway, that was because I was trying to stretch, waiting for the Righteous Brothers to show up.
They're not the same by itself.
Yeah, and then the fact that you pulled it off, a great accomplishment. So
I was happy.
That was huge. But then there's the aftermath.
It was scary. I was sweating butter, man.
And then Tina Fey walked in.
Yeah, Tina Fey was another story. So during this opening of a new second city, this is amazing.
In Cleveland, or right after 9/11.
Yeah, right after 9, but long enough after that it wasn't a downer. It's like
You could
let the man tell his story.
After Gilbert Gottfried appearing at the roast where he whipped out the aristocrats bit, roasting what's his name, Playboy,
Hugh Hefner.
Hugh Hefner. Yeah, that was like that first major. So it was after that had happened.
It was when we were allowed to laugh again.
Yes, that's my point. We were allowed to laugh again. So Second City opens, and it's a parade of people from Chicago and celebrities past and present. And I spent most of that time just inebriated because everybody was sending drinks and food.
Sure.
So you would show up and eat and drink enough to last you until the next day. You know what I mean? And then the morning was radio or TV or whatever, and then there was a little bit of rehearsal, and then it was time for another show. And that it was as close to a rock star as you know what I mean, as I've ever been. So I'm just living the life. Like at one point, Fred Willard was there, and I was so drunk. And speaking of starstruck, I was so starstruck. He came up to me, George, you did a great show.
From Fred Willard?
Yeah.
You get that?
Like, you guys were great. And I was so starstruck and such a drunk, dumb shit. All I could come up with was, we were doing a lot of archival material at the show, like old, like classic Second City sketches. How did we do on the old stuff? And the man was a prince. He was like, George, you did just great.
I could hear him saying it.
He did.
I could actually hear him saying that.
You did just great. You keep doing what you're doing. I see great things for you.
I could actually hear his voice.
And the funny part was, I saw him in L.A. later. This was a couple of years, of course, before he passed. I saw him at Second City there, and I said, hey, you might not remember this, but we've met. He's like, your name is George. You're a Second City in Cleveland.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, I just want to apologize because when I met you, I was so drunk. I was drunk and I was just not, I was so inappropriate and I just don't want you. He's like, don't give it a second thought. You were hilarious. Thanks for everything you do. He could not have been more magnanimous.
To see
that.
He
was a great guy.
I'm going to.
That's a great story. That's a great story.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
So, at one point, so Tina Fey comes with her husband, and they're watching the show, and it's freaking Tina Fey. So we're all freaked out.
Right.
And this was this was before. I think she was
30 Rock.
Yeah, way before 30 Rock.
But SNL.
But SNL, yeah, I think this was right around SNL, like when she was head writer.
And was she anchoring the news at that point?
Yeah, I'm not sure of the timeline. But it was right. It was in there somewhere.
Okay.
So, but enough that
She's
we were
a big
all
deal.
freaked out. Yeah, she was a big deal.
Still a big deal.
But a big deal at that particular
And in
time.
the back of my mind is also the Greek card.
Sure.
And in the back of my mind is also, I'm going to make you a star, kid. Come, I'm going to take you to SNL with me. You're amazing.
It's a lot of cards, Georgie.
Exactly.
It's a lot of cards.
I'm hoping for 2 pair. You know
what I mean? Right.
So she at the end of the show, this particular version of the show, the closer is me being the silly fat guy. There's we're visiting different places in Cleveland, but the point, the game of the sketch is every place we go is just an excuse for them to dump something on me. So like we go to Starbucks and somebody dumps coffee grounds on me, and then we go to the North Market and somebody's dumping pasta on me. So by the end, I am just covered head to toe in just food and foulness and oil and just crap. So there's a shower backstage. So I have we take our bows at the end of the show, and I have to just go right to the shower and just
Sure.
And also by this point, there's a lot of partying going on, and the cast is very intimate, very not intimate, but very not intimate. I shouldn't have said intimate. Very tight knit, so there's not a lot of modesty left among the cast. So I take my shower and I come out in a towel, which I had done many times before, which I don't spend a lot of time. But then I get dressed and I go, but Tina Fey had come back into the dressing room, so she's there, and I come out. Hey, how did you guys? I'm a big fan. And so at the end of the night, long story short, at the end of the night, she goes up to all the different people in the cast. Oh, it was great seeing you. Did a big hug. Oh, it was great seeing you too. Big hug. And then it's, good job, Drew. Just a pat on the shoulder was all I rated after coming out in a towel.
The towel guy gets a pat.
But you're the one she remembers. You're probably the only one she remembers.
She's the one that she remembered, and he was the one that she was afraid of.
I've never heard from her since. So
no,
there
really, you guys haven't kept in touch.
No, there might be a restraining order. I don't know.
That one time where she's casting something, towel
guy.
Towel guy.
No, so the point is,
I think Towel Guy would have popped up by now.
It might have once or twice.
So yeah.
So I still get.
Thank God you didn't lose the towel.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I was never inappropriate, but it was like we were familiar enough that I could come out in a towel before I get
Sidebar question. You kind of self-deprecated and say I was the big fat funny guy, but when you think about Second City and you think about big fat funny guys that went on to big fame, you think about John Belushi, and you think about
Farley,
Farley, yeah, and you think about
John Candy.
John Candy was Toronto. He's a big fat funny guy. Toronto, but big fat funny guy, but different group.
Second City, what was up there?
Chicago.
Second City, Toronto.
Up in Canada. So did in those years? Were you thinking, why can't I be the next big fat funny guy?
Yeah, that's why I quit my job. As soon as I heard somewhere, I was teaching at Tri-C at the time, and I turned in my resignation as soon as I found out I was on the main stage. Somebody somewhere has a picture of all of the first cast in a limousine driving past Tri-C with me mooning the school. Like I thought, that's it. Lorne Michaels is going to come calling me.
Yeah.
Because when you looked at all the
that is so Farley Belushi.
When you looked at all the cast of all the first cast of Second City Detroit, it was Keegan Michael Key,
right?
I can't. My memory. A blonde dude. According to Jim, the brother-in-law.
I know who you're talking. I see the actor. I can't remember his name.
Anyway, those people all went on to do other things. So I thought it was only a matter of time before somebody
Why
came
wouldn't
calling.
you?
Yeah, but that doesn't just. I'm going to make you a star. That doesn't happen.
I like that you keep doing this.
Yeah, it's this.
I like that you keep putting up
the
the
frame.
faux camera.
You got to face
Those of you who are listening,
for the podcast.
He's making a faux camera every time he says that.
It is 69 for you files out there.
I would have taken anything. You know what I mean? Like I was at that point. I was like, I don't care if it was the fat. I don't care. Being the fat guy, being the clown, whatever. Like I'll do. And as long as it's making people laugh, I fit that.
Can you do
great?
Can you do dramatic acting?
Sure.
Can you do? Because they say comedians are some of the best dramatic actors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to do anything dramatic wise?
I did an episode of Criminal Minds.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
And that was dramatic.
That was dramatic. I do remember that. Thank you for reminding me. That was kind of early on in your adventure in L.A.
Yeah.
That was probably another moment where you thought, "Here I go."
Yeah.
Were you a serial killer or something?
No, but I got killed by a serial killer.
You got killed by a serial killer. Yeah.
Did you get days for your dead body moments?
No, because that was a stunt guy.
A stunt dead guy.
And then, like, I'm trying to think. I did a dramatic role over at Mad Lab right before I left town.
Cool.
About a guy who, it was part of. They did a 7 Deadly Sins set of plays,
right.
And there was and mine was I think it was gluttony, but it was about a scientist that would like take people's memories and inject them into himself, and then he would experience them. And
That's
it was
cool.
all.
Kind of
so
a cool
that was
concept.
fun. That was okay. Like it was. I did a thing right before I left town. I was in a movie with Margot Kidder. It was an anthology horror series called Death Foretold.
I remember that.
Yeah, I think Osbeck was
Make a
involved
note of that.
with that.
John Osbeck?
Anyway, Yeah, and that was all dramatic. Although it was sort of a pathetic character. It was sort of like a sort of not developmentally disabled, but like sort of a slow, awkward guy that, you know.
I know you generously gave your time for our concept reel for Down to the Felt, which we're still scheduled to shoot in October.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I meant to ask you about that off mic. Can I?
You can
I'll
ask
ask
me
you
now.
about it. Can I ask
you
you
can ask
now?
me
How's
now,
it
yeah.
going? Are you getting,
We're still trying to
do
finish
it?
raising the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's a $1.5 million budget. Anybody that's got, you know, a couple $100,000 they want to bring to the table.
You're going to shoot it in October?
We're scheduled to shoot in October.
It was fun. It was fun to do.
Yeah.
It's going to be and no spoilers. It's going to be a great movie when it's done. It's going to be great fun.
Yeah. Whitney's going to do some behind the scenes stuff for us. He's going to shoot some stuff for us. I'd like him to be more involved, but he's got a regular job.
Sorry, I got to make the cash.
He's got to make a regular cash. What? Oh, you'll be the Uber driver.
You promised me an Uber driver role.
Yeah, I promised you an Uber driver role. There's no.
You didn't promise me a speaking part.
No, and I
But
never
that
would.
would be awesome if you did.
I never would. I would.
Just enough to get your SAG card?
Yeah. I'm just going to start like improvising
It
stuff
is.
in the background.
It is a SAG. It is a SAG film.
That's great.
It's a SAG film. Yeah.
I would have paid more to join SAG than I'm going to get out of this fucking film.
No, we're moving along on it. We're moving along.
That's
on
great.
It. We've cast. I don't know if you remember an actor by the name of Salvis Cuso. No. He was actually the voice over the loudspeaker on MASH.
Oh, wow.
All those years. Then he actually had some appearances in MASH. He started his career with the Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 back in the 70s. Wow. Journeyman actor. He was Father Tim in the sitcom Soap.
Where is he? Is he still? Where is he in LA now? Or
he's playing Anthony. He's playing our bookie. He did the table read when we had this Zoom table read and had all these great actors from LA, Chicago, New York, and Atlanta. And Sal and after we got done with the table read, he loved the script so much. He called and said,
That's a coup there, man. That's great.
Putting my hat in the ring. Scotty Thompson. A beautiful, talented actress who's been on NCIS. She was Michael Weatherly's girlfriend in a season on NCIS. She was on Grey's Anatomy. She was supposed to be McDreamy's new love interest before he quit the show. So yeah, she was in that rotation. She's done.
She agreed.
Oh yeah, she's our female lead. So we're putting the pieces.
I can't wait to
together.
See it,
I can take her home
if you have the pitch trailer, I still need to see that at some point.
Oh yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Well done.
Concept.
I can't wait to see it. Yeah.
This is a question for you guys. Can we put the concept reel on whiskeybusinesspod.com?
No, because that's just for potential.
No, it's a question for him, guy, not me.
Yeah. You know, we can't because there's music and stuff that we don't have the rights to.
But we can see it.
You can see it.
Okay,
Yeah. We just can't make it public.
Of course.
It's just for investor purposes and you know that type of thing. But yeah, we're moving forward. You were gracious enough to do.
It was great. It was fun.
Do that. Initially, you were going to be a guy that gets killed in the car, but we cut
and
that
then I got
scene
your
from the
part.
concept. You got my part. I gave you my part. Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
That's right. You're in the poker game.
Yeah. I was gonna do that part.
Yeah.
And then when we were running late and we weren't gonna do the take a shot in the scene in the car where Georgie was gonna be the guy that gets killed, I said, You're playing George the Greek, ironically enough. That was the name of the character.
I will do that role any day.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Made for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's moving along and
cool. I can't wait to see.
I'm
going
to be in a horror film that's coming out some point.
Yeah.
What?
Speaking of horror film, this is to wrap things up. If you're ready, whenever you're ready to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Oh, is this the joke?
Yeah.
All right.
The joke?
Okay. Yeah.
Bring it.
I shot a SAG film up in Meadville, Pennsylvania. A horror film called.
That's where Darren lived for.
You live in
that's
Meadville?
Darren's hometown.
So do you know the legend of Pig Hill up in Meadville?
Yeah,
right.
Get Darren on mic.
Yeah, get Darren on mic for a second. All right, it's 2 degrees of separation. Darren has been on the podcast. But you grab that microphone. Yeah, pull up a chair real quick. Yes, a lady wrote a book called Pig Hill, and they wrote a script about it, and they're making a horror film called Pig Hill. I shot it in Meadville, Pennsylvania, and the premise is, of course, that supposedly urban legend claims that there are pig-human hybrids that live in the woods up in that part of the they live where? They live where?
What's your story? Did you grow up there?
No, I grew up closer to Pittsburgh, moved to Columbus, in 2000, moved to Meadville to work for my family. Lived there for 20 years, moved back here.
So they didn't live in the woods, they lived where?
There was there's a radio tower.
Yes,
it's
talk
a
about
big
the radio tower.
And you go in, it's like a little windy road, and I always heard that, in this area, that's where the pig people live, or the
Has anybody ever seen the pig people? Some people claim to. That's how our legend
I
begins.
I never talked to anyone who actually did.
And am I guessing correctly that you're the leader of the pig people?
No, I am not.
He's the king of the people.
My character was Giovanni Vendetti, who runs an illegal pig farm.
Oh, okay.
And claims, self-proclaims to be the king of Pig Hill because
That's
of
what he
his.
said. You're the king of the pig people.
Not of the pig people.
Of the hill.
Of the hill.
The
The king. I have this as one of my the best bootleg bacon in America.
What's illegal about your pig farm?
Because it's the best illegal bootleg bacon. It's not following USDA standards, apparently.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, Chip. You want to know how many miles it took me to get there? And how much gas I
You
used?
have to divide the number of miles by the number of gas.
Was
By
Tammy
the pounds of
Pescatelli?
bacon.
Tammy Pescatelli was in it as well.
She lives
Shane West plays the male lead. Shane West from A Walk to Remember with Mandy Moore and ER back in the day when he was on that. Andy McDowell's daughter, Rainey Qualley, Margaret Qualley's sister, and Andy McDowell's daughter is the female lead.
And who's the director?
Kevin. Oh my gosh,
He did what's his name?
he did the Nick Cage movie. We talked about this.
Wally World.
Willy World. Yeah.
They were filming in the marketplace. I worked right next to the marketplace. They took that over for a whole day or two.
Yeah, and that's when Tammy was probably working.
Yeah.
right,
You
in the
already
market.
shot it, or you're gonna shoot it?
No, I shot it. I
didn't
was
know it was your
I was on set for 3 days. They did not get me done in 3 days. I had to come back for 2 more days, and I don't know when it's coming out. They said they were going to try to, go into post real quick and try to get out by Halloween this year, which I think is pretty aggressive. But if not, it'll be out next year. And the ironic part about that is that all the independent stuff that I've done, The Street Where We Live with Mr. John Whitney, Bottom Feeders through the years, Good Night Cleveland. I've worked on a film. I've worked on a
time
film.
to go back to that.
The George Caleodis and I are in a movie together.
I was the line producer.
Yeah. I actually enjoyed doing that film. Do you
enjoyed
remember
it,
that scene remember that scene at the Funny Bone? Because we were shooting on film.
Yeah, we were shooting on film, and every time you hear that camera go click, 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 and Miguel will tell you about this every time. He would say this all the time. Every time you hear that click, 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 it's $100, $200, $300, $400. This was before digital video because that all had to be developed and then hand edited, like cut and paste,
Miguel.
like cut with a knife
Miguel
and paste.
Baldoni, great guy.
So so Dino is doing a bang up job in this scene. It's very dramatic. The guy, the club manager who's using the comics to run drugs to other towns. By the way, this was the first thing we ever tried to do as a comedy troupe. We tried to make a dramatic feature film.
Yeah.
Because comedians are the best at drama.
Exactly, because that made perfect sense. So Dino's like got the bag of cocaine, and he's like looking at it. He looks up at us and he looks back, and he's getting ready to say something very profound. He's getting ready to do his line, and Miguel goes, "Cut!" It's like, I didn't get to my line. Like you never got to say his big tagline.
You got it slightly. He's
What
got
happened?
it slightly wrong.
Oh no, what happened?
You got it slightly
How
wrong.
fix it?
No. I am doing everything you said.
Yeah.
And I was just taking a dramatic pause.
Yeah.
And Miguel starts to whisper the line.
Oh, he whispered the line.
Whisper the line. No. He starts to whisper the line.
it.
He thought I forgot my line,
Oh.
and he starts telling me the line, and which completely broke my concentration. I know the line. I was taking a pause, and he went. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. And then we had
Do you know who contacted
Say
me
your line really fast.
about a year ago out of the blue?
No.
Do you know who contacted me and wanted a copy of that film?
No.
Because she was in it.
No.
Betty Gadam.
No.
Yes, from the Funny Bone.
Yeah.
So she was like, she
Yeah.
worked at the Funny Bone,
Yeah.
and we happened. I don't know what series of events led us to dragging her into this scene, but she was around and she agreed to be in the scene. And
why did she want a copy now?
Because she's like, I was telling all my friends that at one point I was in a movie and it actually got shot and actually got finished, and I was just wondering if you ever finished it. I'm like, of course it got finished. Tomorrow I will get you a copy and I will put it in the mail to you. And she's living out in out west. I think she's living in Nevada or Montana. She's living out west somewhere.
Wow.
But yeah, out of nowhere.
That's
Betty Goddamn.
Yeah.
Is that streaming somewhere?
No. Although
I have a copy and I won't let my family watch.
I can send you a link.
No.
It's nowhere that's available publicly.
You won't let your family watch
but I can send you
won't
a
let your
link.
family
If you
watch
text
it?
me, I'll send you a link.
Darren.
Darren.
Darren's got some.
Darren.
Let's just call them memorable moments.
Some artistic nudes.
Yeah.
Boudoir photography. Darren.
No,
It was about 150 pounds ago still, but
Yeah. We were all.
not enough.
Darren and I have lost a person, but had a person less between us since then.
still,
Gained a person.
we
We've
learned
gained
a
a
lot.
person. We
We
learned
had
a lot.
of
It was
fun
great.
doing it.
Yeah,
At,
and yeah, you were all set up for that dramatic moment.
in-
Miguel, but because he was so worried about,
about yeah,
and
time.
understandably so,
It's
Yeah.
weird because Miguel's so low key and relaxed.
I was just so
and also in that time, like that he was doing that also because it was necessary for a lot of the script was changing on a hourly basis, so people were forgetting their lines, and he would have to throw that.
I
in.
don't have a reel per se, an acting reel, but there was like a couple moments in that film that I would use in a reel. I mean, as far as
Yeah.
the character goes, when we were
God.
shooting in my apartment at night on East California,
Oh, that was
there was a
amazing.
great scene where I was talking about
Yeah.
the patrons that come to the club, and I got defensive
a
about the
great
club.
scene.
It was
Yeah.
well, that goes to the writing as well. And that was a great
Was
scene.
well written.
It,
And God bless Ross and Micah for putting it together after
right.
TV became a thing.
I have a
I'll
copy
get
of
it
it.
to you.
I have a copy
Good night,
of it.
Cleveland.
Good
It was-
night, Cleveland.
I've often thought, like on my bucket list, like when I get rich and famous and I'm able to start doing my own projects, is to like go back and do that film
Again,
but do it in a way that I would say do it right, but that's not it. Do what it became, knowing that that's what it's supposed to be.
right, sure.
Like, doing it that way.
Hindsight's
It takes
20/20,
you
as they say.
It
Yeah.
is. It's a story. There's a story there.
there's a story
it's
there.
not epic filmmaking. None of us knew what we were doing. Miguel was the one who most knew what he was doing, but none of us had any idea what it was supposed to. We were just showing up in Jim Bahari's car. Hey, Jim, can we use your car? We're gonna do like that day. Like there was no like planning ahead. Like, hey, Jim,
Be careful
can we
what you wish for, because a film I thought would never see the light of day is now out there. The first film I ever did,
Bottom feeder.
Heartland of Darkness.
Oh, Heartland of Darkness.
Yeah, is out and about now, and that film is 30 years old, and it finally got released and put together on Blu-ray and DVD.
I want to see it. I gotta see it.
If you have more to go ahead, but this segues very nicely into our Chat GPT.
Okay,
There you go. Let's
Okay, bring it. Let's hear it.
let's close with the overlords and wrap it up. Yeah.
Exciting.
All right, so I put in. I said write a joke about this comedian actor, and then I put in your IMDb page, like your link.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay. All right. Interesting.
He's
And
going to
I-
be one of the ones when
is
they take over.
Yeah.
Prompt
This is-
engineering.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is going to be one of the ones.
By the
that-
way, that's the robot I was talking about earlier.
he doesn't know he's a replicant.
He's a replicant. He doesn't know
He
it.
does
though.
know he's
All right.
And I said,
Unicorn.
oh wait, I said you use reviews and ratings and the fact that he loves whiskey to write a joke.
Okay. All right.
freaking
so let's hear it.
brilliant,
We'll
Greg.
close on this.
So this is Chat GPT.
Easy for you
Whiskey,
to say.
not so much about whiskey. with whiskey.
Dino is a comedian who loves whiskey so much.
How
that
much does he love
Thank
whiskey?
you.
I'm sorry.
He even played a character in a movie called Heartland of Darkness.
It
Which
knows.
has nothing to do with whiskey.
It knows.
Hold on, there's more. There's like
Keep
more.
going, keep
all
going.
right,
No,
all
tell
right,
us the rest. You can't leave us hanging. There's more.
It's the story of a small town overrun by Satanists. Satanists?
Satanists.
Either one, both good. We know what you meant.
I'm a Christian.
Who should know how to say Satanist?
Nope. I guess you could say that Dino's character had a devilishly good time.
Devilish. Oh, devilish.
Especially when he realized the whiskey served in that town had an otherworldly kick to it.
Oh.
See,
Our jobs are safe for a little while.
Oh, no,
I think our jobs are safe for about 6 months.
They say his performance is so convincing that he had the audience rolling in their graves
oh my God!
and reaching for another round of whiskey.
Oh wow! So put all that together.
That's not bad,
Multifaceted
it's
show.
Well, this ChatGPT has had a child.
Yeah.
Telling dad jokes.
The best.
Yeah, really.
Seriously, it's progressed to dad jokes. When you compare that though to the Christmas joke,
Right.
much more sophisticated.
Much more
Where's it going to be
sophisticated.
in another 6 months?
Not to mention the best review I've gotten.
Thanks, Chap CB.
AI reviews my movie.
Georgie, this has been fun. Derek, thank you for chiming in. Who knew that we were 2 degrees
Meanville.
of separation from
bizarre.
Pig Hill? Which, ironically enough, I was saying, despite all the things that I've done, Pig Hill is going to be... What are you laughing at?
Everything. I'm sorry. This is great.
Pig Hill will probably be the thing I'll be seen in the most because it's a horror film,
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And people love horror films.
People love horror films.
And
You
the writer,
never
I remember-
know what's going to
I
click.
remember the writer is like, he was like, I know that when I wrote this, it was supposed to be for a guy in his mid to late 70s, and we cast you instead. But he's like, he goes, you're killing it, and he goes, hey dude, he goes, did you read the whole script? And I go, yeah, of course I read the whole script. He goes, you don't die. Sequel, baby. Like,
Where did you find them? How did you where did you hook up?
the agency that I work, I'm with Doherty out of Pittsburgh and Cleveland.
Got it.
And they sent me the audition. It was like a 7-page audition. You talk about when you're saying, it was a 7-page audition. And thank God for John Osbeck and Ralph Scott. They helped
you run lines?
Yeah, helped me run
Was
lines.
it a Zoom audition or was it a regular? Was it an in-person audition? Or
No, it was on tape. It was on tape. And then I got pinned. You're familiar with being pinned.
I've been
you
pinned
hate
a few
being
times.
Pinned is when
You know what? There's a new thing now. It's ask and advise. It's not pinned anymore. It's they want you to tell them if you have anything else coming up. It's basically pinned. They just won't call it pinned anymore.
right.
So it went from you're on a veil, meaning
Available.
you have to block off this time, to you're pinned, meaning you and 1 or 2 other people are going in for the. But now it's ask and advise. It's something like that, where it's like they don't tell you how far up, like who they're waiting on approval from.
Right.
But if you book anything during the window, they want you to tell them.
Right.
So they're giving you less and less like support. Like.
See, I always thought it was like you're pinned, which means that you're up for the role and being strongly considered.
Yeah.
Unless we can get somebody that's got a name.
Yeah,
Right by
but this is even less than
board,
that.
yeah.
This is, hey, make sure you tell us what it's like the cop going, look, just don't leave town, okay? Like it's like a cop telling you that, like you don't know where in the process you are. They're giving you less and less and asking you to block off more and more. And that's why we need a strike, damn it.
It's too late now. The Pig King is locked.
Big King.
And
Oh my
done.
God.
Georgie, thank you so much, man.
Thank you. This is a blast. This was every bit as much fun as last time. Thank you for watching. Thanks for having me. This is great fun.
I'm looking forward to tomorrow night.
Jealous that you guys get to do this every week.
Look forward to tomorrow night.
Oh, tomorrow's
going to
be either-
you're going to miss it because you won't know about
It's
it.
either going to be amazing or it's going to be a dumpster fire.
And
but
either way, if it's a dumpster fire, it's going to be the most amazing
Exactly.
fucking dumpster fire of all time.
Which is the whole thing about improv, right? If you're going
Right.
to go down, and we talked about this last time. If you're going to go down in flames. Don't try to save yourself. Enjoy the fall.
Even with the small amount of people, and we got a lot more people coming to this show. Even with the small amount of people, I think they know, they get it, they know what the the circumstances are and what the conditions are. So they're very generous.
Right.
And
Plus, let me just tell you, Joe's going to kick my ass. I just want to tell you that from the get-go. Joe is, Joe.
I know
He's
Joe.
so in the moment. He's so joyful and just like ready and fearless and just ready to, wherever you're going, he's going to be there to support you.
I haven't seen him in 15, 20
Has it been that long?
years. I can't
Has it
remember
been
last
that long
time I
since you
saw
saw him?
Joe. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Well, he's looking forward to see, he's
Yeah.
like, he told me about it. He's like, Dino wants me to. I was like, yeah.
Yeah,
Dino
of
wants you
course
to do
I
the
did.
show.
Yeah, when you mentioned his name, I said, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you kidding me?
It's going to be a great. Whatever happens, it's going to be. I don't know what's going to happen. This is after the fact. It's already happened. If you're watching this, it's already happened.
But you can listen to it next week.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, because we're going to release you first, and then we're going to release the premise.
Oh, you're going to release the premise online.
Oh, yeah.
Just audio.
Audio, just some audio. And Johnny's going to be selective. He's not going to release the whole thing. He's,
Yeah.
When it comes to, I let the genius
teach
do
your
what the
theater
genius
Yeah,
kids
does.
let him do what he does.
Yeah.
Let him do his magic. Yeah.
Let him do his magic.
Well, it's not good magic.
Thank you for
It's
having
great
me.
magic.
This has been.
Don't undersell yourself.
This is
magic.
great
It's
fun.
Sleight of
Thanks so
hand
much.
It's not good.
magic,
It's good
Vegas
magic. It's good magic. You know what
magic.
he needs if he had puppets. If he had
Exactly.
puppets, that
That's right.
Dude, I can arrange that. I can
I
hook
need
you
a
up
hand
with
up my
puppets.
ass.
I know puppets. Listen, I'm not trying to brag or anything. I'm not trying to throw my weight around, but I know some puppets. So I could bring you puppets. Is what
You
I'm
know a
saying.
guy. A
I
felt
know a
guy.
guy. I know a guy.
He's a felt guy.
Johnny.
we
The
will finish
Johnny
off
Puppets
the
is
rest
the
of the new riff. Thank you, Joe Tate, for the guest bottle this evening.
Very good.
Thank you, John Whitney, genius who doesn't give himself enough credit on the video side. Hansberry,
Hansberry.
on the audio side. Thank you. Chip.
Thank you, Chip.
Chip Cosell, ladies and gentlemen, on the everything side. Because what about what?
About what?
What are you apologizing for?
Whatever I messed up.
No,
You
Chip
didn't mess
was-
up
Chip was on
anything.
point.
I understand.
The only thing you're doing, the only thing you're messing up right now is you don't have a microphone, and it's over there by
And Darren's clapping with it. Stop
He
clapping
gave
with
Darren
Darren.
his mic.
You don't mess up anything.
Thank you.
It's just I never know what earnestly is going to come out of your mouth. That's the beauty of it.
I know it's crazy. I speak before I think. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
You don't think we do?
I know.
You don't think we speak before we think?
The most
Yeah, but
thoughtful
it's
person
not the
you'll
Chip
know.
Cosell show. It's it's the whiskey business with Dino Tripodis.
This is a family, and we all contribute.
You rock.
And we're all part of the same messed up thing.
Thank you. You
So,
rock. Totally rock.
Yeah. Thank you, Chip, buddy. All right.
Whiskey Business is the podcast not so much about whiskey as it is one with whiskey.
Good callback.
Thank you for subscribing on your favorite podcasting app. Just whatever you're listening on right now, we're on all of them. Just go ahead and subscribe, whatever button it takes for you to subscribe on your specific podcasting app. Just hit it. Also, share it with your friends. Well, give the gift of Whiskey Business. That's what we said earlier, right?
I'm gonna remember that for the holidays.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's Father's Day coming up.
Hey.
Hey.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whiskeybusinesspod.com, and also if you go to Whiskey Business with our YouTube is Whiskey Business with Dino Tripodis, and that's fun because this is all unedited on the YouTube channel. So
Yeah, it
Oh,
is.
boy.
We don't
This
edit
is gonna
anything
be-
on the YouTube channel.
a lot of fun.
And we're canceled.
Whiskey Business.
I always thought it was because we wanted it to be pure and raw, but
Sure.
instead John's lazy. He doesn't want to
That's
do
all
it.
it is.
So I'm just like,
This is the most. Those of you podcasters, I'm sorry, you're wrapping up. Those of you podcasters out there watching, this is the most efficient podcasting setup I've ever seen. I don't want to give away too many secrets. Have you ever done a tech explanation of how you set things up?
No,
it'd be like a
because we don't want to
10-second
spill it.
video.
Because we have to set up. Thank you for peeling the curtain back.
Of course.
We have to set up and tear down just randomly in Dino's dining room. What do you call this room?
I call this our podcast room now.
There you,
At least that's what the IRS.
So you're saying your mortgage is being deducted from your.
Better be. That's all
At
I
least
gotta
that this is my office.
say. It is. It literally is, though.
No,
It's
it really
funny,
is.
but
It's
it is.
no.
And
it's
that's
square
how they
footage. It's a
finally got.
perfectly legal deduction.
That's how they finally got Dino Tripodis.
That's how they got me.
It wasn't the racketeering. It wasn't the drugs. It was the taxes.
It was the taxes. Me and Capone. Okay, we really gotta go.
We gotta go.
My name is Dino Tripodis. Thank you so much for listening and watching. And until the next bottle, see ya. Woo-hoo.